Chapter 164. Big Brother Lin Shun. As long as you say the word, it's fine even if we give up on the General Academy's assessment. Gu Feng laughed heroically, and some of the boys nodded in agreement. T. You must go to the General Academy's assessment, but how many of the 14 spots you can get will depend on you. From now on, each of you will tell me the characteristics of your cultivation techniques and the attributes of your battle chi. I will do my best to help you become stronger in this half a month. As for how much you can improve, it will depend on you. Lin Shun waved his hand, and dozens of cultivation technique manuals fell out from the spirit storage ring. Everyone was dumbfounded. They picked up one or two scrolls and flipped through them, and their expressions changed greatly. All of these battle skills were either high-level or peak-level battle skills, and all of them were the best of the best. Any one of the scrolls could be considered a family treasure and an heirloom in their family. These were all obtained from robbing those veteran Heaven Realm cultivators in the Evil King's secret realm. Almost none of the cultivation techniques taken out were inferior. Most of them were rare cultivation techniques that even the entire Wasteland branch didn't have. Oh my god, Class Monitor Lin Shun, did you rob all the first-rate sex in the Wasteland? Qin Xiaofeng was so excited that his whole body was trembling. The Wasteland branch doesn't have so many good cultivation techniques for me to rob. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. When the whole class flipped through the mountain of cultivation technique scrolls, their eyes couldn't help but light up. Big Brother Lin Chen, are these for us? The simple and honest Zhang Yu swallowed his saliva in disbelief. Nonsense, if I don't give them to you, I'll keep them to give birth. Everyone in Class 66 looked at Lin Chen again, and their gazes were as if they had pledged to follow him to death. It had to be said that this feeling was too heavy. Lin Chen couldn't stand everyone's fanatical and mushy gazes, so he waved his hand and scolded jokingly. Why are you all so emotional? Although I'm handsome, you don't have to look at me like that. Forget about the female students. I'm not interested in the male students. Lin Chen's words made the whole class burst into laughter. Well, cut the crap. Tell me all the attributes and features of your battle cheese. Lin Chen spent less than 2 hours to memorize all the characteristics of the entire class. After Lin Chen's departure for over 2 months, almost everyone who followed Lin Chen on the Level 6 mission had stepped into the Earth Realm. Compared to the seniors in the inner courtyard, there was still a gap between them. It wouldn't be a problem if it was a team battle, but if it was a one-on-one battle, his strength was still lacking. Lin Chen opened the cauldron to refine medicine on the spot. He picked out a few pill recipes that he had looted or picked up from the attribute light balls. They could help the whole class advance by leaps and bounds in their cultivation. 2 days later, rumble. Pure energy fluctuations continuously emanated from the peak of Lingyu Mountain, shooting straight into the clouds, causing the passing disciples to exclaim endlessly. It's another fluctuation from the birth of a high-grade pill. I'm really envious of Class 66. They actually have such an all-round and powerful class monitor. This is already the 17th time, right? To actually refine so many high-grade pills in 2 days, this is too terrifying. Even the Grand Elder of the Inner Courtyard's alchemy department doesn't have such efficiency, right? It's someone else's class monitor again. Look at our class monitor. Damn it, comparisons are odious. On the peak of Lingyu Mountain, a group of young men and women each occupied a corner, sitting cross-legged and cultivating. The entire Class 66 was in a state of breaking through a bottleneck. Lin Chen wiped off his sweat. This continuous high-intensity pill refinement was almost unbearable even for him. Suddenly, a clear and melodious voice rang in Lin Chen's ears. May I ask if you're class monitor Lin Chen? Rumble. Lin Chen was so frightened that he immediately spread his purple phoenix wings. He immediately soared into the sky, cold sweat flowing down his back. With his current cultivation, he actually didn't notice when someone had approached him. Although it was partly due to excessive pill refinement, this kind of situation would give anyone a shock. He saw a cute and timid person staring at him from behind Lin Chen. The person's short hair was like frost, her lips were red, her eyebrows were like the moon, and her skin was soft and delicate like snow. She was less than 6 meters tall and wore exquisite silver embroidered clothes. Her pure eyes, like the crescent moon, stared at Lin Shan with both curiosity and fear. "Who are you? Why did you suddenly approach me?" Lin Shan asked cautiously. He realized that the other person's aura was so weak that it could be ignored. Even his mental power couldn't detect it. I'm also from class 66. My name is Han Yiji. The vice principal told me to look for class monitor Lin Shan. May I ask if you're class monitor Lin Shan? Han Yiji was like a timid little white rabbit, as if she would cry if she looked at Lin Shan a few more times. You're also from class 66? Speaking of which, the original class 66 had 23 people. One person was removed, so there were 22 people left. There were 21 people who were on the level 6 mission with me. Lin Shan recalled and counted carefully. There was one person missing. So you're from class 66. I am Lin Shan. Student Han Yiji. How did you get close to me without anyone noticing? Lin Shan retracted his purple phoenix wings and landed in the air. He sized up Han Yiji curiously. I was born with the ethereal physique. Everything about my body is covered by my mental power. Unless it is someone whose mental power is several realms higher than mine, they won't be able to detect my existence. That's why no one noticed me when I went in and out of the inner courtyard. Han Yiji's curious eyes moved, but she didn't dare to meet Lin Shan's gaze. There is such a miraculous physique. Lin Shan released his mental power and used his purple golden eyes. Other than the purple golden eyes, Lin Shan really didn't have any other method to detect Han Yiji's existence. Your physique is very powerful, and your mental power is also very strong. How about this? I will teach you a cultivation technique. Lin Shan picked up a jade scroll and used his mental power to inscribe many contents on the jade scroll. After a while, Lin Shan handed the jade scroll to Han Yiji. After the latter read it with her mental power, a pleasantly surprised expression appeared on her face. This is a mental cultivation technique? Yes, there are also some simple mental attacks and defenses. If you practice this well, you might be able to participate in the main courtyard examination with us. Lin Shan smiled. What he inscribed on the jade scroll was a part of his Genesis holy scripture. Since he was from class 66, he didn't plan to hide it. Thank you, class monitor Lin Shan. I will definitely not pass this jade scroll to others. Although Han Yiji was afraid of strangers, she understood the preciousness of this jade scroll very well. She bowed to Lin Shan in a crisp voice. After chatting with Han Yiji for a while, the two of them became more familiar with each other. Lin Shan spread his purple phoenix wings and left Lingyu Mountain. He casually found a mountain peak in the inner courtyard to rest and open the system. Chapter 165. Heavenly Tao Possession Pickup System Version 2.0. Host. Lin Shan Cultivation. 7th level of the Earth Realm. Maximum power, 999,900 Tiger Power. Chi and Blood, 92. 81 million points. Battle Chi Essence, 93. 22 million points. Mental Power, 150,000 points. Cultivation Technique Soul Essence, 2.0. 4 million points. Mental Cultivation Technique, 9 Calamities of Creation, 15%. Cultivation Technique, 8 Desolates. For Mystic Flames, True Water Origin Technique, 100%. Heaven Dipper Battle Chi, 100%. Taisher Scripture, 20%. Divine Wilderness 9 Arts, 60%. Special Treasure. True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings, 40%. Bloodline Energy. 2,150 Azure Dragon Bloodline. 10,000 Purple Golden Pupils Bloodline. Attribute Rune. Slow Rune Level 2. Corrosion Rune Level 2. Charge Rune Level 2 Rune Energy. 620,000 points. Various Elemental Energy. 4,200,000 points for Fire. 4,010,000 points for Earth. 4,100,000 points for Wood. 5,080,000 points for Metal. 5,050,000 points for Water. Lightning. 1,750,000 points for Wind. 1,290,000 points for Light. 980,000 points for Dark. System. I want to use the cultivation technique Soul Essence to cultivate the highest proficiency of 9 calamities of creation. Host has consumed 1 million cultivation technique Soul Essence, currently cultivating 9 calamities of creation. A vast sea of memories surged into Lin Chen's mind. Previously, he couldn't cultivate the 9 calamities of creation in depth because he didn't have the light and dark battle chi attributes. Also, his other elemental energy attributes weren't enough for the mental cultivation technique's requirements. Now, Lin Chen's elemental energy attributes, except for the dark attribute, had millions or even millions of elemental energy attributes. His foundation was far beyond the past. This time, the fusion of the cultivation memories of the 9 calamities of creation took an unusually long time. It took half a month's time. During this period of time, the entire Class 66 had come out of seclusion. They began to participate in the Inner Institute's one-on-one duels with the seniors. When Lin Chen opened his eyes again, his 9 calamities of creation as proficiency had already reached 30%. I see. The Primal Chaos 5 Spirit Art is only building the foundation. The 9 calamities of creation is the complete form. When any one of the 9 battle chi attributes reaches the peak, you will be able to forge a special bloodline exclusive to that battle chi attribute. Lin Chen silently circulated his fire-type battle chi, and a stream of pure energy was injected into Lin Chen's blood vessels, limbs, and bones. Lin Chen's body burst out with crimson flames. He raised his finger and flicked it, shooting a beam of fiery light into the sky. Boom! 2,000 feet high in the sky, a fiery explosion swept up, burning the clouds into a fiery red color, and finally evaporating. Such destructive power was comparable to the Heaven Dipper realm. This is the fire physique. The destructive power is comparable to the Heavenly Dipper realm first layer initial stage. If you use the Divine Wilderness 9 arts, you may not need to use the charging rune to hit the power of the first layer late stage. Lin Chen clenched his fists in excitement. Previously, he had to use a charging rune if he wanted to release a battle chi attack comparable to a Heaven Gang realm. But now, he only needed to convert to a special bloodline to possess such destructive power. This was only an incomplete special bloodline. If all 9 types of battle chi were converted to a special physique, his strength would be unimaginable. Converting to a special bloodline requires at least 4 million attribute points. My basic 5 elements meet this condition. Converting to a special bloodline would consume a lot of energy, so Lin Chen could only use it as a trump card. Has everyone in class come out? I've been in seclusion for more than half a month. Lin Chen's purple gold eyes looked at the Lingyu peak and saw no one. He spread his purple phoenix wings and flew towards the inner court. Inner court, arena. A large number of students had gathered in the arena, including the outer court students. Lin Chen had just arrived at the scene when he heard the cheers and exclamations of the audience. There were also the results announced by the elders. Bai Juanhao defeated the inner court's number 1, Xiang Dingtian. Shangguan Bihan defeated the inner court's number 15, Huang Fuling. Yu Linlin defeated the inner court's number 11, Liao Ying. Lu Lin defeated the inner court's number 10, Tang Qianwei. Yin Haidang defeated the inner court's number 8, Long Huang. Gu Chunfeng defeated the inner court's number 7, Yang Feiyu. Han Yiji defeated the inner court's number 2, Ziyu Eshin. Su Lan defeated the inner court's number 3, Xiafeng. Su Lan defeated the inner court's number 4. Even the vice president and bald elder, who were used to seeing big waves, were shocked. It had only been half a month. The entire Class 66 had undergone earth-shattering changes. Not only did all of them break through 2 realms, but each of them had mastered at least one advanced or peak green combat skill. Lin Chen's Divine Wilderness 9 arts was also peak green. He had only cultivated it to 60% proficiency, but he could unleash an attack that was close to or even comparable to a Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator. Even if everyone in Class 66 had only learned a little bit of peak green combat skills, it was still not something an ordinary low or intermediate green combat skill could compare to. What kind of joke is this? Bai Juanhao, who was just promoted from the outer court, defeated senior Xiang Dingtian? What do you know? I heard that this Bai Juanhao is a top genius that senior Lin Chun personally discovered before entering the academy. Tisk TSK. If there was no senior Lin Chun in this batch, this Bai Juanhao would probably be the biggest dark horse. Many seniors were discussing. By the time Lin Chun arrived, Class 66 had already obtained 14 spots for the General Academy assessment. We didn't let you down. A woman's light and graceful voice sounded. Shangwan Bihan smiled like a flower and stared at the back row of the arena. Everyone followed her line of sight and looked over curiously. Waves of surprise sounded one after another. It's Senior Lin Chun. Wow, it's the real person. He's really handsome. Hee. Senior Lin Chun is so immature. Senior sister has taken a fancy to senior brother. A large number of students rushed over fervently and worshipped Lin Chun. He had to use his purple phoenix wings to fly into the arena. After landing in the arena, Lin Chun couldn't help but ask curiously when he saw the purple-gold radiance swirling in the depths of Shangwan Bihan's eyes. Your purple-gold eyes has advanced to the 4th stage? Yes. Thanks to you for helping me remove the hidden danger of my bloodline awakening and refining elixirs for me to break through to the 2nd level of the Earth realm. My purple-gold eyes has also successfully broken through. Shangwan Bihan said with a sweet smile. It was hard for anyone to imagine that such a delicate and weak woman could actually defeat a master ranked in the top 15 of the inner yard. Good job, Lin Chun. I didn't expect you to hide such a move for us. Ha ha ha. Bald Elder stepped on the air and laughed heartily. Everyone from Class 66 gathered around Lin Chun. Lin took the lead and asked curiously. That's right. Class Monitor Lin Chun. I wanted to ask you earlier. Why didn't Mentor Lung Yuechi come back with you? Mentor Lung Yuechi had a fortuitous encounter and went back to her clan first. Hearing Lin Chen's words, Bald Elder and the vice principal looked at each other and revealed a tacit smile. An aged and cryptic voice echoed from the sky, causing the entire arena to quieten down. Students of Class 66, congratulations on becoming the newest top 15 in the inner court. Please make your preparations now. 6 hours later, you will depart for the General Academy assessment location. Chapter 166. The Vice President nodded and said, Yes, it's about time. Class 66 should hurry up and get ready. The President will personally lead you out in 6 hours. The 15 people heading to Tianji's headquarters for the assessment were all from Class 66. They were by Juanhao, Han Yiji, Su Lan, Ying Liang, Gu Chanfeng, Yulin Lin, Lu Lin Yan Haidang, Shengwan Bihan, Qin Xiaofeng, Xiang Qinghong, Xiao Sanqing, and Zhang Yu. And the strongest person in the history of the Desolate Region branch, Lin Chun. The 15 of them would be facing all the geniuses from the 24 domains, as well as the elites from the headquarters. The students from Class 66 who didn't participate didn't feel too disappointed. They had already benefited from Lin Chun too much. Just the top green class cultivation technique was enough for them to remember for the rest of their lives. The team from the Desolate Region branch was now a truly strong team. Not to mention Lin Chun. Just by Juanhao's strength alone was enough to suppress Ling Tianyu when he activated his Azure Dragon bloodline to its peak. 6 hours passed in the blink of an eye. The 15 people who were resting in the arena floated up without any warning. Don't be afraid. The President will personally lead you to the assessment location. Bald Elder smiled and waved his hand. All the students in the arena bade farewell to Lin Chun and the students from Class 66. In the air, a flying sword tiger that was hundreds of feet tall caught the students from Class 66 on its back. A kind old man stood on the flying sword tiger. He was holding a walking stick and wearing a thin shirt. He looked very weak. Little guys, you did well. Compared to the previous batches, You're the most outstanding batch of students in history. I look forward to your performance this time." Everyone in class 66 looked at the old man in amazement. Was this the mysterious dean of the academy? He didn't seem to be anything special. Only Lin Shun could vaguely feel the president's deep and vast battle aura. It was far from the vice president's level. "You're the president?" Yin Haidang asked curiously after bowing respectfully. "Haha, it's me. You don't have to be so reserved. Sit down." The dean smiled amiably. When he looked at Lin Shun, his gaze lingered on him for a full 2 breaths. "Lin Shinbrat, allow this old man to ask a question. Why hasn't teacher Lung Yuechi, who was with you, returned?" Speaking of this matter, the dean's gaze was solemn and deep. "Headmaster, you're worrying too much. Elder sister Yuechi only obtained what she wanted in the Evil King Mystic Realm and has already returned to her family," Lin Shun said with a smile. Everyone in class 66 was stunned. "Sister Yuechi? Since when did the class leader become so familiar with that she-devil?" The dean looked deeply at Lin Shun and said with a smile on his eyes, "That's good." With Lin Chen's words, this old man is relieved. "All right, little fellows, this old man will explain the contents of the General Academy's examination to you this time. This year's examination questions have already been decided." The dean took out a jade scroll and slowly spread it out. Everyone listened attentively, not daring to be negligent. This time, the General Academy's examination will be held on an island called the Giant Whale Island, located outside the 24 regions. The main way to obtain credits is to kill the ferocious beasts on the island. Every student needs to collect 10,000 credits to pass the examination. The time limit for the examination is 15 days. Killing a Class 4 ferocious beast on the Giant Whale Island will give you 10 credits. If you only rely on killing Class 4 ferocious beasts, it will be very difficult to pass the examination in such a short time. Therefore, on this island, there are 20 Class 5 ferocious beast nests. Each Class 5 ferocious beast is worth 100,000 credits. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but gasp slightly. This was clearly the rhythm of wanting them to hunt Class 5 ferocious beasts. Logically speaking, Earth Realm cultivators encircling and killing Class 5 ferocious beasts was equivalent to courting death. Just like in front of a Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator, an Earth Realm cultivator was equivalent to a fish on a chopping board. A Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator could turn the other party into ashes with a flick of his finger. We are only at the Earth Realm, but we actually have to encircle and kill Class 5 ferocious beasts that are comparable to Heaven Star Border Realm cultivators. As expected of the Heavenly Song Academy's General Academy, it really doesn't recruit mediocre people. Ing Liang smacked his lips, but his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Other than that, students are also allowed to snatch credits from each other during the battle. As long as no one is killed, injuries are not counted. If it's fatal, 2,000 credits will be deducted. The biggest problem of this examination is that when encircling and killing Class 5 ferocious beasts, you also have to be wary of other students who are also participating in the examination. After that, the dean raised his head and said seriously again, "This old man has been to the Giant Whale Island before. Other than the 2 points mentioned above, there are 2 more difficult problems to deal with, and that is the chain reaction of the battle. A few of the 20 Class 5 ferocious beast nests are connected nearby. Once a battle breaks out, it may attract a second Class 5 ferocious beast. Moreover, among these 20 Class 5 ferocious beasts, 5 of them are Lord Class. They occupy the Giant Whale Island all year round and are in an invincible position. They're the best among Class 5 ferocious beasts. Once you provoke these 5 Lord Class ferocious beasts, I'm afraid that other than the students of the General Academy, no one will be able to survive." After listening to the contents and rules of this examination, everyone fell into silence. This examination was extremely difficult. In fact, if Lin Shun hadn't returned in time to help everyone improve their strength, even if they were given a quota to participate, they would only be courting death. "Why aren't you guys talking? Are Class 5 ferocious beasts enough to scare you? At this moment, Lin Chen's mocking laughter rang out. Since you want to enter the General Academy, you'll have to face those monsters with monstrous talents in the future, right? If you shrink back here, then it's fine if you don't go to the General Academy. Lin Chen was full of pride. With just a few casual words, he made everyone determined to cut off all means of retreat. Class Monitor Lin Chen, you're so awesome. Han Yiji showed her white teeth and smiled happily like a crescent moon. Aha! As expected of the kid Lin Chen, who defeated 10 geniuses of the Sky Domain branch. You have courage. We have already left the desolate realm. We will reach the giant whale island in about 3 days. The dean's words surprised Lin Chen. After they boarded the flying sword tiger, they didn't feel like they were flying at all. How long had it been? They had already left the desolate realm. Everyone cherished their time. While recovering their energy, they focused on cultivating the top Cyan class cultivation technique that they had just obtained. Lin Chen sat cross-legged and circulated the Taisher Holy Scripture with Han Yiji. He was surprised to find that if 2 people circulated the Taisher Holy Scripture at the same time, within a certain distance, the efficiency of cultivating spiritual energy was much higher than when 1 person cultivated alone. This surprise made Han Yiji and Lin Chen overjoyed. The 2 of them cultivated their spiritual energy without eating or sleeping. Lin Chen's spiritual energy had already reached the peak of the soul realm and was faintly touching a higher bottleneck. Looking at these hard-working children, the dean shook his head and smiled with satisfaction. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. The flying sword tiger flew hundreds of thousands of miles and arrived at the Netherworld Sea near the Spirit State. In the Netherworld Sea, a vast and ancient island floated on the surface of the sea. It was dozens or even hundreds of times larger than an ordinary island. Chapter 167. A swordlight cut through the void, and the flying sword tiger arrived at Whale Island and landed on the shore. There were already 5 red-robed Heaven Star Border Realm elders waiting on the shore, and the dean's voice came from the sky. The Wasteland branch is in place, and there are 15 examinees. The dean landed in front of the 5 red-robed elders and said calmly, "Oh, your Wasteland branch is divided into 1, 1, and 4 branches. This batch seems interesting." On a bench behind the 5 red-robed elders, an elder in sackcloth wiped his oily mouth and looked at Bai Juanhao, Han Yiji, and Lin Chen with interest. "This is your reference jade token. Don't lose it." The red-clothed old men flipped their palms and took out 15 large blood-red words engraved with the words General Academy Examination. Light circulated and restrained the starlight. As soon as the Wasteland branch received the tokens, a beam of light shone down from the sky. It was the Nether branch. As soon as they arrived, they found the culprit who beat them up. They couldn't help but stare at Lin Chen viciously and resentfully. The Nether branch is in place, and there are 13 examinees. The red-robed elders were expressionless as they continued to give out the blood-colored tokens. Streaks of light flew across the sky and landed on the shore like meteors. The higher-ups of the branches in the 24 domains were all gathered on the same island. As the 2 who had cultivated the purple golden eyes to the purple lightning generation realm, Lin Chen and Shengwan Bihan had an eye-opening experience. Those who could make it here were all people with amazing skills and unlimited resources. The heavenly branch had the most people, and there were 35 of them. Among these 35 people, there were many geniuses who surpassed Ling Tianyu. The branch with the least number of people had at least 5 people who signed up for the exam. Those who managed to get a spot in the exam weren't ordinary people. Just as the atmosphere was tense, something strange happened. Whoosh, whoosh. 10 handsome men and beautiful women walked out of the light pillars. Lin Chen and Shengwan Bihan reacted immediately and looked at each other. These 10 people were the genius students from the Spiritual State General Academy. They were all 9th level Earth Realm experts. There's actually a half-step Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator. This lineup is indeed powerful. Lin Chen was very observant. In less than a breath's time, He had seen through the details of the 10 people. Half-step Heaven Dipper realm. This was a realm that could only be entered with absolute talent. Once stepping into the half-step Heaven Dipper realm, it means that the cultivator can control the timing of their breakthrough to Heaven Dipper realm at any time, and the bottleneck is nothing. Lin Shun had only seen a few half-step Heaven Dipper realm cultivators in the Evil King's secret realm and Lung Yuechi. The students of the General Hospital were responsible for increasing the difficulty of this assessment. Not only did they have to kill the Class 5 dire beasts on Whale Island, but they also had to hunt the new students participating in the assessment. If they were to form a 10-man team, they would be able to defeat almost all the other teams. However, the Institute didn't want to see such an outcome. Therefore, after the assessment began, the 10 senior students of the General Hospital would be completely scattered on Whale Island. They might act alone or in a team. It was all up to them. The chain reaction of the Class 5 dire beasts, the competition between the examinees, the existence of the Overlord class dire beasts, and the wandering of the senior student from the General Hospital. These 4 fatal, unstable factors could eliminate the examinees at any time. However, if they successfully passed the assessment, they would undoubtedly be the top prodigies in terms of cultivation, temperament, talent, and luck. The moment the senior students of the General Hospital appeared, there were 4 senior students who constantly exchanged glances with the prodigies of the Heaven Domain branch. In just a short moment, the 4 senior students locked onto the Desolate Realm Branches group with murderous intent. Especially Lin Shun. Class Monitor Lin Shun. We are being targeted. Yulin Lin covered her mouth and chuckled. Lin Shun casually turned his neck and stretched his body. At the same time, he smiled indifferently and said, "It can't be helped. Who asked our team to have handsome men and beautiful women? We're the most good-looking. Isn't it natural that we are being targeted?" Seeing that everyone had arrived, the old man in sackcloth, who had been lying on a soft chair, slowly stood up and wiped his greasy hands. Since everyone is here, I won't waste any more words. I believe your elders have already explained the rules to you. If you don't understand, it's none of my business. In this assessment, the remaining ones are the kings. As long as you don't intentionally kill anyone, you can do whatever you want. Just bring back 10,000 points for me. The old man in sackcloth waved his hand, and the red-robed old man behind him stepped into the air. Each of them took 2 senior students with them. Swoosh! With the sound of wind breaking, the 10 senior students were teleported to different parts of the island. The entire giant whale island occupies a huge area. It will take at least 7 days for these senior students to gather. In these 7 days, you have to seize the opportunity to collect enough points and hide. You can just wait until the end of the assessment. The dean secretly transmitted his voice to his own students. The Desolate Realm branch was not the only one doing this. The other branches were also secretly transmitting their voices to their own students. After saying that, the dean secretly handed a map to Lin Shun. The old man in sackcloth pretended not to see it and waved his hand. All right, the assessment will officially begin now. Everyone, set off. Gather at the same place 15 days later. After saying that, he lazily lay back on his soft chair and went to sleep. The prodigies from the 24 regions all had their own thoughts as they began to flood into the giant whale island. The assessment had officially begun. Lin Shun openly took out the map the dean had given him. This map was very detailed, recording the routes on the island and the nests and routes of the 20 Class 5 dire beasts. In fact, even the races and names of the 20 Class 5 dire beasts were marked very carefully. Lin Shun sized up the map and allowed the other branches to enter first. After looking around, his eyes lit up and he chuckled. I've already confirmed the first destination. It's this devilish azure dragon. Hearing this name, even the old man in sackcloth's eyelids twitched a few times. He was bewildered. Devilish azure dragon? Isn't that one of the 5 Overlord dire beasts? Could it be that this brat dares to look for an Overlord dire beast right from the start? Before the old man in sackcloth could confirm, Lin Shun had already led everyone into the giant whale island. Giant Whale Island, Demon Swamp. This was a muddy swamp. If one were to fall into it, even their battle chi would be absorbed, making it difficult to break free. There were many strange shadows lurking in the towering ancient trees all around. It was the ambush of the Heavenly Domain branch and Netherrealm branch. The leader was a cold-faced, arrogant young man with a saber hanging from his waist. There was a deep scar on his right eye. The strongest student of the Heavenly Domain branch, Zhao Yunfeng, was at the peak of the Earth Realm. He was much stronger than Ling Tianyu. The other handsome and feminine man had a face full of resentment and hatred. He was the strongest student of the Netherrealm branch who had been sent flying by Lin Shun, Ling Huanqing. The students of the two branches had actually set up an ambush right from the start of the assessment. Chapter 168. Two young geniuses of the underworld branch, hiding under a towering ancient tree, also said viciously, "This time, we will join forces with the Sky Domain branch. They won't be able to escape. I wonder if that cunning Lin Chen will fall for it." At this moment, a student who was scouting in the sky suddenly shouted, "Everyone, get ready. They're coming this way." As soon as he finished speaking, two figures quietly appeared on the other side of the swamp. All the students hiding in the swamp were instantly on guard. "They are coming. They are from the Wasteland branch. Why are there only two? They're probably the unlucky ones that Lin Chun sent out to scout ahead. Let's get rid of these two first, then we'll find the rest of them." The first to appear were Ying Liang and Qin Xiaofeng from Class 66. As soon as they stepped into the swamp area, they found that the swamp had a secret that prevented them from using their battle chi. "No, there's something strange about this place." The timid Qin Xiaofeng immediately shouted, "Boom! Boom! 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 Boom!" Powerful battle chi attacks crazily attacked. Shadows flashed across the sky. Sabers, swords, fists, and arrows immediately surrounded the two people. "Charge! Their people are over there!" The students of the underworld branch shouted at the top of their lungs. They wanted to take revenge for the previous palm strike. Unexpectedly, Ying Liang and Qin Xiaofeng, who were surrounded, revealed a strange smile. A purple flame suddenly swept across the sky. Lin Chen's palm was spinning a pitch-black wheel. He angrily slapped it. "Dark Devour." The pitch-black wheel suddenly trembled in the air and spun rapidly. It expanded into a huge black vortex and swallowed all the attacks. "Let's see if you can catch a rabbit." Lin Chen suddenly shouted coldly. Two graceful and beautiful figures appeared in the sky, shocking the students of the two branches to the point that their expressions changed abruptly. They couldn't detect when Yin Haidang and Lu Linner had approached them. Even their spiritual senses couldn't detect any aura. Han Yiji, who was hiding in the dark, skipped over many towering ancient trees with cute little steps, leaving the battle area far away from the battle area. Thousand Arrow Snipe. Yin Haidang pulled back his colorful longbow, and arrows with hidden mysteries shot out like lightning. They tore through the air like flowers falling from the sky, and fiercely shot towards the students of the two branches. Bang, bang, bang. These arrows didn't have much lethality. They only had one characteristic, and that was their speed. It was so fast that most of the geniuses from the super monastery couldn't react in time. Every time an arrow exploded in the air, a light green poisonous fog would sweep across the entire swamp like a hurricane. The arrows are poisonous. Split up and flee to higher ground. With a saber in hand, Zhao Yunfeng suddenly shouted coldly after slashing apart a dozen arrows. "Damn Lin Shun! How dare he play dirty?" Ling Huanqing's feminine and handsome face was filled with madness and unwillingness. The geniuses of the two branches understood what he meant. Using their ultimate movement techniques and divine abilities, they immediately retreated in 12 different directions. Lin Shun grabbed Ying Liang and Qin Xiaofeng and quickly retreated. His entire body had transformed into a water-type bloodline, and his entire body became transparent and dazzling. As Lin Shun retreated, his shoulders suddenly shook, In pure water-type battle, chi spread out majestically through the air, causing ripples to appear in the air. Boom! The two branches had just retreated a distance when huge waves of over 1,000 feet swept up in all directions. The aura was so terrifying that it was as if they were in the center of a stormy sea. Huge waves swept up in all directions of the swamp. And the most terrifying thing was that these huge waves were all condensed from water-type battle chi. All the geniuses were panicking. To be able to condense such a terrifying aura with just battle chi, perhaps only a Heaven Star Border cultivator could do so. Frost, Ice Wall Blade. What was even more terrifying was yet to come. Just as everyone was on guard against these huge waves, a bone-chilling cold air suddenly rose up. Ka. Shocking cold air swept up in all directions of the swamp, instantly freezing all the huge waves that were over 1,000 feet high into ice walls. On the surface of the ice walls, there were also ice blades that were over 100 feet long, and they were extremely sharp. Because of the poisonous gas all around them, it was extremely urgent. More than 10 geniuses joined forces to attack a single spot. All sorts of battle chi attacks of different attributes mixed together, causing a chaotic energy storm. In the end, they only left a few holes in the ice walls, and not even a single ice blade could break them. This ice wall was over 1,000 feet high, and its thickness was close to 1,000 feet. With everyone's strength, even if they broke it open, they would be half dead from exhaustion. The most important thing was that the poisonous gas that had been shot into their bodies had already started to take effect. Everyone was already feeling dizzy, and their faces were turning green. This poison is so strange. My battle chi can't even dissolve it. This is a poison made from several types of fierce poisons. It's not a poison that can be neutralized by ordinary tier 3 antidotes and battle chi. The geniuses of the two branches were wailing in anguish. The circular ice wall had completely trapped them all. Lin Chen's water-type battle chi complemented the Su sisters' ice-type battle chi techniques perfectly. When he activated the 9 tribulations of creation and transformed it into a special bloodline, his battle chi attack was comparable to a Heaven Star Border Stage 1. Coupled with his powerful ice-type battle chi, even a Heaven Star Border Stage 1 expert would have to expend a lot of effort to break open this ice wall. Above, there's an exit above. Everyone cried out for help. In their panic, they saw that at the top of the ice wall that was in the shape of an inverted bowl, there was still a hole that had not been frozen. Some of the geniuses who couldn't hold on any longer hurriedly used their movement techniques and rushed up, wanted to rush out of that hole. No, we can't rush there, Zhao Yunfeng shouted. He was one of the few who still maintained his rationality. Bang! The 4 geniuses who rushed up were instantly smashed back, spitting out blood as they fell. Friends, have you ever played whack-a-mole when you were young? If not, let's experience it now. Lin Chen's cold laughter came from the top of the ice wall. All the geniuses could clearly see that Lin Chen and his group were standing at the top of the ice wall, looking down at them. In this environment filled with poisonous gas, all the geniuses complained incessantly. You bunch of bastards, you want to trick us? Your brother Chun is the ancestor of playing tricks, and you want to trick me? Are you dreaming? Lin Chen laughed mockingly. These two branches must have colluded with each other. The elders of both branches must have contacted each other in private. The two branches added together had close to 50 people. With such a powerful team, other than the senior students of the main branch, no one else could go against them. If the Wasteland Region branch had been ambushed by these fellows, with their personalities, they would have been tortured to the point where they wished they were dead. Lin Shun had no intention of going easy on such people. Ha ha, Lin Shin, so what if you have trapped us? Do you dare to take our lives? There are rules for this test. If you dare to take our lives, you will be deducted 2,000 points. Lin Shin narrowed his eyes and said with a smile on his face. Lin Huanqing didn't give in. Not to mention 2,000 points. Even if it's 20,000 or 200,000 points, none of the people that I, Lin Shun, want to kill will survive. Boom. The light element battle chi gathered into a ball of energy that spun in Lin Chen's palm. With a flick of his hand, the fury of light locked onto Ling Huanqing and flew towards him. Ling Huanqing's voice came to an abrupt halt. His face turned pale as an owl's cry came from his throat. He really dares to make a move. Chapter 169. Before he could finish his sentence, Light's Fury's light energy exploded. Ling Huanqing, who was poisoned by battle aura, did not even have a chance to escape. He was blasted into nothingness within the ice wall. When the prodigies from the two branches saw what happened to Ling Huanqing, their faces were filled with horror. They thought that Lin Chen would not kill them because of the rules of the assessment. They did not expect him to be so decisive and fierce. The blood-colored jade token hidden in Lin Chen's chest suddenly flickered, and Lin Chen's points changed to -2,000. Boom! Just as the prodigies from the two branches were stunned by Lin Chen's thunderous killing methods, the entire ground shook violently. Not good. There's a dire beast coming in our direction, and it's very fast. Shangwan Bihan, who was on full alert, stood at the top of the ice wall and suddenly shouted. The impact of Lin Chen's fight with the two branches was so great that it had alarmed all the Class 5 dire beasts in the surrounding area. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes and immediately opened the map. In the area closest to them, there were only the red flame rhinoceros and the devilish azure dragon. Suddenly, Shangwan Bihan's pretty face turned pale. She gritted her teeth and hurriedly changed her words. No, there's another one. The other one has a completely different aura. It's suspected to be a Class 5, Overlord-level dire beast. Hearing this, the prodigies from the two branches were so scared that they almost peed their pants. Two Class 5 dire beasts? And one of them was an Overlord-level dire beast. Let's out quickly. We don't want to die, Big Brother Lin Chen. Please be magnanimous and don't bother with us. Wah, I beg you. I'm only 22 years old. I don't want to die here. Master, Father, Mother, I was wrong. I shouldn't have participated in this assessment. The prodigies from the two branches were so scared that they cried for their parents on the spot. If they were to face two Class 5 dire beasts head-on, their chances of survival were slim to none, not to mention that they were currently poisoned. Big Brother, should we retreat first? Bai Juanhao suggested, as the whole class was on high alert. However, he discovered that Lin Chen's eyes were bursting with a fervent and even exhilarated fighting spirit. Retreat my ass. They come at the right time. I haven't gone to look for them, but they've come knocking on my door. Everyone, get ready. Give these two bastards a good beating. With a fierce glint in his eyes, the domineering Lin Chen gave everyone in Class 66 a shock. After making a trip to the legendary Evil King's secret realm, this Lin Chen was simply too overbearing. When the geniuses of the Nether Realm and Sky Domain super campuses heard Lin Chen's reply, their hearts sank to the bottom of the abyss. Crazy. He must be King crazy. More than 10 Earth Realm martial artists actually dared to challenge two rank 5 savage beasts. It's less than 70 li away from us. Shangwan Bihan said anxiously. Lin Chen immediately gave out the battle tasks. It has already been activated. These two fellows are the vicious Devil Azure Dragon and the Scarlet Flame Red Rhinoceros. The Scarlet Flame Red Rhinoceros's strength lies in its powerful attack and defense, but it's lacking in agility. Hence, for this attack, all of you will need to use a guerrilla battle formation. It's best to form groups of 4 or 5. Everyone must concentrate their attacks on the same area and position. Hearing this, everyone was puzzled. Yu Lin was the first to ask curiously, then what about this Overlord-class vicious Devil Azure Dragon? Just leave it to me. Lin Chen's words once again caused everyone to suck in a deep breath from the bottom of their hearts. A 7th-level Earth Realm martial artist challenging a Class 5 Overlord-class savage beast alone? Even storytellers wouldn't dare to say this. Less than 50 li away, one to the south and one to the north. Shangwan Bihan reported the two savage beast positions again. Everyone immediately dispersed. As for the students from the two branch colleges, Lin Shan left them to fend for themselves in the ice walls. It would be up to them if they could escape before the battle started. From the south, there was a giant scarlet rhinoceros that was over 100 feet tall and was the size of a small mountain charging over. Its giant fiery red rhinoceros horn was emitting a radiance that could pierce through gold and stone, as though it could pierce through the stars. Rumble. Violent winds swept across, and the mountain crumbled. This giant scarlet rhinoceros was like a moving disaster. Anything that obstructed its path would be destroyed. Everyone from Class 66 was on a small mountain peak that was over 10 li away. They were all waiting for Shangwan Bihan's instructions. The radiance from Shangwan Bihan's purple-gold eyes gradually disappeared. She then said seriously, Senior Qin Xiaofeng and Senior Yulinlin will cooperate with Senior Sulan and Senior Sulan to disrupt its movements. The rest of the students will be responsible for attacking its abdomen. I will be in charge of observing its movements. If anything happens, I will immediately transmit a message to all of you. With that order, everyone immediately moved. Yin Haidang took the lead and drew his longbow, shooting at the giant scarlet rhinoceros's eyes. The arrow exploded into a cloud of poisonous smoke, instantly obscuring the scarlet rhinoceros's vision. It was so agitated that it stopped its advance and roared angrily at the sky. The two teams flanked the scarlet rhinoceros from both sides. A series of battle techniques like hurricanes were launched at the scarlet rhinoceros's abdomen. Be careful, its first wave of attack is coming. Shangwan Bihan transmitted her voice across the air. Everyone immediately retreated a few hundred feet in tacit understanding. Feeling the pain in its abdomen, the scarlet rhinoceros's horn emitted a dazzling radiance. Waves of heat swept over, and the entire forest of the Devil's Swamp was set ablaze. Chi-Chi, the violent and ferocious scarlet waves of fire exploded in a circle, and a pillar of flame shot up into the sky. Even the clouds in the sky were burned into nothingness. Everyone from Class 66 was shocked. To be able to launch such a terrifying attack in an instant. Only Rank 5 or even Heaven Star Borderell creatures could do it. This was their first battle with a Rank 5 dire beast, and it was a battle without Lin Shen's help. Just as the entire Class 66 was engaged in a fierce battle with the Scarlet Rhinoceros, less than 50 miles to the north, in the jungle basin, a fierce and violent aura shot up into the sky. It was as if some peerless monster was about to be born, stirring up the world. Unlike the heated battle with the Scarlet Rhinoceros, this basin valley was eerily silent. The ground faintly cracked, the mountains collapsed, the clouds changed, and the wind rose. In the eerie silence, there was an almost suffocating pressure from the draconic aura. Everything was just the calm before the storm. In the basin of the valley, two incomparably vast and majestic azure dragons were lying in wait on either side of the valley. One had green, jade-like dragon scales for limbs with 5 claws and a body of 200 feet long. Dragon breath whistled through the wind and clouds. The other had green scales for limbs with 4 claws, a body of over 200 feet long, and blood-red dragon eyes. The dark red dragon horn on its head released an evil and murderous dragon breath, like a spatial vortex swallowing all life. It was Lin Shen's ancient azure dragon and devilish azure dragon. Chapter 170. In terms of size and strength, the devilish azure dragon had the upper hand. It had fused with the bloodline of the blood-sucking scourge and inherited the bloodline of the azure dragon. This kind of dragon only had pure killing intent and killing intent. It lived by its instinct to kill. Although it was not brave or astute in battle, it was very powerful. True dragons disdained to be part of the same race as this kind of dragon. Normally, they were considered as demonic dragons by the proud dragon race. However, its strength was unquestionable. Once I get rid of this big guy, my Azure Dragon bloodline attribute points will be settled for the time being. Lin Shen licked his lips. He secretly circulated his battle chi, preparing to convert it into a special bloodline energy at any time. Since you don't dare to move, I'll make the first move. Lin Chun stomped his foot. The ancient azure dragon suddenly roared, stirring up the wind and clouds. It opened its mouth and spat out a dragon breath storm. Roar! For the first time, the devilish azure dragon roared as if it was going to fight a life and death battle. Its dragon body leaped into the air, twisting and turning like a heavenly dragon, swinging its tail. Bang! The dragon tail crushed the ancient azure dragon's dragon breath storm. Charging rune, Light's Fury. Purple flames streaked through the air. Lin Chun struck out with Light's Fury, and an energy ball exploded from the devilish azure dragon's head. Lin Chun was very clear that this kind of attack could only tickle the ancient azure dragon. With a thought, the majestic figure of the ancient azure dragon suddenly charged out of the smoke and dust, pouncing on the devilish azure dragon. The devilish azure dragon was enraged by Lin Chun. It opened its mouth and bit down on the ancient azure dragon's back. The crackling sound of scales cracking showed the devilish azure dragon's terrifying strength. With a sweep of its claws, the ancient azure dragon bound the devilish azure dragon. Its dragon teeth sank into the dragon's flesh, biting off the dragon's scales. The dragon's claws tore wildly, and a long roar tore through the sky. Dragon blood and dragon scales splashed everywhere. Two primordial, ferocious beasts from the primordial era were fighting here. Streams of dragon breath shot out like vast blades, cutting through the valley and basin. With the dark abyss spear in his hand, Lin Chun focused all of his attention, circulating all of his dark-type battle chi and concentrating it on the tip of the spear. The host has activated level 2 charging rune. 100,000 points of rune energy have been consumed. Attack power has increased by 300%. Divine Wilderness 9 Arts, Dark Devour. Bang! A purple flame shockwave suddenly burst out from Lin Chen's wings, and Lin Chen's figure instantly moved 1,000 meters away. The ancient azure dragon seemed to have a telepathic connection. The moment Lin Chun charged over, it abruptly rolled and turned around. Ignoring the fact that its spine was bitten off, it bit the upper body of the ruthless devil azure dragon and pressed it to the ground. Boom! Lin Chen's dark abyss spear just happened to pierce through the vicious devil azure dragon's wound. It immediately felt pain and let out a furious roar. The furious devilish azure dragon crazily swung its dragon claws, shooting out half-moon-shaped dragon breath blades. One of the dragon breath blades swept through the area where Lin Chun had been standing and hit the ice wall right in the middle, creating a crack. Quick, there's an exit here, too. We can leave here, too. The prodigies trapped in the ice wall immediately exclaimed. The exit at the top of the ice wall was surrounded by ice blades, and those with poor movement skills would not be able to get up so easily. More than 10 prodigies immediately escaped through the crack. Just as they left the ice wall, a violent earthquake shook the earth. Boom! An earth-shattering heat wave engulfed the entire forest, setting it ablaze. The 8 prodigies fled too quickly and almost lost their lives in the fire. They frantically retreated for a distance, only to discover that there was actually a battlefield not far away. Ha ha ha, awesome, awesome. Qin Xiaofeng. Let's go again and attack its lower body. Damn it, it's only fun to fight a level 5 vicious beast. Do you see the injury on its left leg? Senior Lu Lin, give me something good. We'll take care of its right leg. No one can touch it. The 14 prodigies of Class 66 besieged the Crimson Flame Red Rhino, and the scene was extremely shocking. The level 5 vicious beast could not even land a single hit under their flawless coordination. Fighting a level 5 vicious beast, so satisfying. Damn it, what kind of monsters are these people from the Wasteland Region branch? The fire is coming. Run north. The prodigies who had just retreated immediately ran towards the only gap in the fire, their figures crisscrossing in the forest. Just as everyone used their movement techniques to get away from the fiery battlefield, they heaved a sigh of relief. Roar! The roar that tore through the sky resounded for thousands of miles. Some of the prodigies were dizzy from the roar, and their eardrums bled. When they took a closer look, everyone's eyes were as wide as eggs. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Not far away in the valley, two ancient azure dragons were fighting. In between the two azure dragons, there was a blurry figure shuttling back and forth, constantly launching fierce attacks. It's Lin Shun. Oh my God, isn't that the devilish azure dragon that the dean told us not to provoke? He's really a monster. He even dares to fight the devilish azure dragon? Wasn't he in the battle just now? Oh my God, did the entire Wasteland Region branch fight 2 level 5 vicious beasts alone? What kind of monsters are these? Why aren't you running? Are you waiting to die? Any dragon breath from the devilish azure dragon can turn us into ashes. All the prodigies ran as soon as they came back to their senses. They took out all kinds of pills and weapons to save their lives and rushed back to the battlefield like crazy. Compared to the devilish azure dragon, the crimson flame red rhino was so much cuter. Many of them thought to themselves, as long as I escape this time, I might as well find a knife and stab myself to death if I provoke Lin Shun again. 15 minutes ago, on the coast of Whale Island, the originally relaxed old man in sackcloth suddenly sat up in shock. The battle between these little fellows has alarmed 2 level 5 vicious beasts? No, these little fellows can actually fight back against the crimson flame red rhino? Let's wait and see. In less than a quarter of an hour, an unprecedented earthquake rocked a large area to the northwest of Whale Island. Not only the old man in sackcloth, but even the red-clothed examiners who had been calm all this time were also shocked. Damn, he hit it too well, too well. A Wasteland Region branch actually has such a monster. He actually raised an azure dragon in his own body? The old man in sackcloth jumped up, rubbing his hands excitedly and cursing. No, this azure dragon doesn't seem to be his only trump card. Damn, how many more secrets is this kid hiding? Let's wait and see. The old man in sackcloth gazed into the distance, as if he could see the situation in the distance through space. Chapter 171. Whale Island, 3,700 li north. The battle between the Scarlet Flame Rhinos had already reached its climax. As long as Class 66 could hold on, victory was only a matter of time. But the problem now was the battle between Lin Shun and the devilish azure dragon. In terms of actual combat strength, the devilish azure dragon was infinitely close to the peak of Heaven Dipper's second stage. If it was a one-on-one battle, Lin Shun's ancient azure dragon would only be able to injure the devilish azure dragon, even if it used all 4 of the dragon race's abilities. With the current strength of Class 66, even the heavily injured devilish azure dragon was no match for it. Their only chance was for Lin Shun to defeat the devilish azure dragon. The valley collapsed and the ground crumbled. The entire valley was completely destroyed by the battle between the 2 azure dragons. The azure dragon's tail swayed like a heavenly river and slammed into the devilish azure dragon's claw. Pung, 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 pung. The 2 azure dragons flew into the sky and fought. Rays of dragon breath swept across the sky. The 2 azure dragons collided with each other. It was as if the mountains and rivers were collapsing and the heavens and earth were turning upside down. The battle between the ancient azure dragon and the devilish azure dragon had reached its climax. Because of Lin Shun's sneak attack, he had expanded the wound on the ancient azure dragon and suffered counterattack. Although this big fellow is heavily injured, my ancient azure dragon will definitely be the first to give out. Next, it's time to decide the victor. Lin Shun's body turned into a transparent azure color as he stood on a cliff. His eyes narrowed, and under the cover of his purple-golden pupils, he looked up at the battle in the sky. At this moment, his injuries were recovering at an astonishing speed. Lin Shun had transformed his entire body into a special water attribute bloodline and used the primordial water fusion technique. The healing effect was more than 10 times faster than before. The combination of the true water origin scripture and the true water origin scripture actually produced such a miraculous effect. Otherwise, with this young master's physique, I wouldn't have been able to move so quickly after being hit by the devilish azure dragon's claw. Lin Shun felt that his body had recovered to 90%, and a strange feeling of satisfaction arose in his heart. Consuming 50% of his water-type battle chi to heal his severely wounded body in a short period of time was a price worth paying. Right at this moment, Lin Shin's purple-golden pupils suddenly detected that the dragon's breath within the ruthless devil-green dragon's body had suddenly increased by several levels. Not good, this big guy is going all out. Lin Shin cursed inwardly. Streaks of blood-green dragon breath light blades revolved around the ruthless devil-green dragon. Every single dragon breath blade was shrouded in a terrifying sharpness. Tens of thousands of them gathered around the devilish azure dragon's body, forming a sky-devouring tornado that charged straight at the ancient azure dragon. Azure Dragon's soul-splitting claw. The primordial azure dragon raised its claws and suddenly tore through the void. The moment space was torn apart, the azure dragon breath blade, that was filled with an aura that could topple mountains and overturn seas, collided with the devilish azure dragon. Boom! Bang bang! The massive dragon breath exploded in a circular manner, and a mushroom cloud of destructive energy rose into the air. The entire Whale Island was clearly visible in the sky. This kind of Heaven Star Border Stage 2 battle of life and death was rarely seen in the outside world. As the violent energy storm swept across, a dragon breath light blade suddenly shot out. The blood-green light blade sliced through most of the scales on the primordial azure dragon's forelimbs. The ruthless devil-green dragon charged out of the energy storm and opened its mouth to bite down. Gotcha! The ruthless devil-green dragon bit off one of the primordial azure dragon's forelimbs, and dragon blood splattered everywhere. Now, Lin Shin's figure suddenly moved. The true flame purple phoenix wings were at least 10 feet wide, and his speed increased to more than 10 times the speed of sound in half a breath's time. Swoosh! The sound of wind breaking could be heard, and the purple flames suddenly flew onto the ruthless devil-green dragon's back. Lin Shin's palm was spinning a grayish-white talisman. Host-activated Level 2 Slow Talisman. 640,000 rune energy consumed. Using all the rune energy in one breath, Lin Shun slammed his palm into the ruthless devil-green dragon's body. After the fierce battle just now, the ruthless devil-green dragon's body was also like an arrow at the end of its flight. The slow talisman that Lin Shun used up all the rune energy to activate was simply a dragon suppression talisman. Roar, roar, roar. The ruthless devil-green dragon, who had never suffered such an attack before, roared in panic and directly fell from the sky. Now you know how to roar? You made my azure dragon so embarrassed. See if I don't beat you in a dragon meat paste. Lin Shin's entire body was filled with an imposing aura. His entire body had transformed into a special bloodline energy. Colorful battle, chi, energy circulated around his body. Lin Shin's left hand was filled with metal elemental battle chi, showing off its sharpness. His right hand was filled with fire elemental battle chi. His left leg was filled with earth elemental battle chi. His right leg was filled with wood elemental battle chi. His heart flickered with azure water elemental battle chi, maintaining the best healing state at all times. All 5 types of special bloodlines were activated. This was one of the reasons why Lin Shun dared to challenge the ruthless devil-green dragon. Die for me. Lin Shun suddenly swung his fists along the largest wound on the dragon's back. Like a pair of hammers beating a war drum, he crazily attacked the ruthless devil-green dragon. His legs, knees, fists, and elbows seemed to have transformed into sharp weapons as they struck out violently without stopping. Colorful explosions of battle chi energy sounded like a chain of cannons on the ruthless devil green dragon's back. Dragon blood splattered everywhere, and a large number of bloodline and blood elemental light balls fell from the sky. Lin Shun was like a madman, attacking the ruthless devil green dragon's wound all the way down. Pung, 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 pung. His pure strength combined with the battle chi energy converted from his 4 special bloodlines allowed each of his attacks to explode with the power of a Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator. Lin Shin's close combat skills were so strong that almost no one in his age group could match him. When he attacked the ruthless devil green dragon, he could unleash dozens of attacks comparable to a Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator in a breath's time. Host has received 3 million points of blood chi energy, 3,100,000 points of blood chi energy, 2,950,000 points of aura energy. Host has received 181 points of Azure Dragon Bloodline energy, 199 points of Azure Dragon Bloodline energy, 195 points of Azure Dragon Bloodline energy. Lin Shin's attributes suddenly skyrocketed. Some of the attribute light balls that flew out scattered outside, and some directly merged with Lin Shin's body. If it was the ruthless devil green dragon at its peak, Lin Shin's attack power would not even cause it to itch. But if it was delayed by the slowing rune, Lin Shin would still attack it all the way down. It would not be able to endure such a fierce attack. It would not even have the ability to defend itself. The ruthless devil green dragon's body was constantly twisting in pain. Because of the slowing rune, it did not even have the chance to scream before it fell from the sky, causing the ground to shake and the mountains to shake. Ha ha! Lin Shin's frenzied attacks were still going on. The system screen that popped up crazily seemed to be stimulating Lin Shin's nerves, calling for him to continue punching. Thump, thump! Large amounts of blood chi attribute light balls merged with Lin Shin's body. It was as if the power of creation was flowing through his body, creating a new miracle. Chapter 172. Lin Shin's limbs and bones were filled with a brand new energy. His bones became brighter, and his meridians became smoother and tougher. His muscles and bones glowed, and his aura glowed. His flesh and blood were filled with a brand new energy that cleansed his body. All the impurities that had accumulated in his organs were cleansed. His pure strength was crashing against the bottleneck again and again. Host has received 5 million points of chi and blood. Host's strength has exceeded 1 million tiger power. Following the injection of chi and blood, Lin Shin's body made a crisp sound. It was as if he had broken through the shackles and was reborn. Lin Shin's body refinement had officially entered the Heaven Star Border Realm. When his strength reached 1 dragon power, Lin Shin's strength did not stop increasing. His pure strength had increased by more than 10 times. The power of each of his fists was so strong that it could move mountains and cover rivers. Even though Lin Shin's battle chi had been exhausted due to the conversion of the special energy bloodline, he could still destroy the entire ruthless devil Azure Dragon with pure strength alone. After the last punch, the vicious green dragon was only left with a section of dragon bone and the attribute light balls scattered around. In Lin Shin's blood token jade token, his points increased to 98,000. As for the injured ancient Azure Dragon, it returned to his body. While recovering from its injuries, it also received the brand new Azure Dragon bloodline energy. On the other side, the old man in the linen robe who was watching the whole process was completely shocked. His mouth was as big as an egg, and he no longer had the demeanor of a senior expert. This brat actually destroyed the devilish green dragon. Even the red-clothed examiners who had always been calm were shocked. Lin Shun from the Wasteland Region Branch School. His body refinement actually broke through to the Heaven Star Border Realm when he destroyed the vicious green dragon. This old man is more curious about what kind of secret technique he used to immobilize the vicious green dragon at the most crucial moment. What do you guys know? The most important thing is that ancient green dragon he's rearing. It has the same origin as him. This kind of trump card is simply impossible to guard against. This is so interesting, so interesting. The assessment has just begun, and such an outstanding genius has already appeared. Lin Shun frantically collected the remaining scattered attribute light balls. When he opened the system, he couldn't help but be overjoyed. Heavenly Tao Possession System version 2. 0 host. Lin Chun Cultivation. Peak of the 7th level of Earth Realm. Maximum strength, 2 dragon power. Vitality, 193. 25 million points. Battle Chi Essence, 98. 54 million points. Spiritual Power, 170,000 points. Cultivation Method Essence, 1.09 million points. Mental Cultivation Method, 9 Tribulations of Creation, 15%. Cultivation Techniques, 8 Desolate Profound Flames. Grand Beginning Scripture, 20%. Divine Desolate 9 Arts, 60%. Special Treasures, True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings, 50%. Bloodline Energy, 13,500 points of Azure Dragon Bloodline, 10,000 points of Purple Gold Eyes. Characteristic Runes, Level 2 Slowing Rune, Level 2 Corrosion Rune, Level 2 Charging Rune. Rune Energy, 0 energy of various elements, Fire 4. 2 million points, Earth 4. 1 million points, Wood 4. 1 million points, Metal 5. 8 million points, Water 5. 5 million points. Lightning, 75 million points. Wind, 29 million points. Light, 79 million points. Dark, 980 million points. 500 points of Azure Dragon Bloodline. Right now, the Azure Dragon Ring in Lin Chen's Dantian was constantly revolving and absorbing this brand new Azure Dragon Bloodline. The Azure Dragon Bloodline might not bring about a huge increase, but it determined the ancient Azure Dragon's growth limit. Back in the Evil King's secret realm, Lin Shun had already pushed the ancient Azure Dragon's potential to the maximum. Now that the ancient Azure Dragon had 6 times more bloodline energy than before, there wouldn't be any problems with its upper limit until it reached Tier 5 high grade. I didn't expect that after absorbing the devilish Azure Dragon, my pure strength would actually grow to 2 dragon power. Right now, I could even fight a Heaven Dipper Realm expert with pure strength. Shutting off the system, Lin Chun stood up from the grass and clenched his fist in excitement. Right at this moment, there was another battle from afar, which attracted Lin Chen's attention. Isn't that where everyone is fighting? I was so focused on fighting the devilish Azure Dragon that I became very far away from everyone's position. Lin Chun suddenly spread out his purple phoenix wings. At this moment, the purple phoenix wings were dazzling and dazzling. Streaks of purple flames lingered around them like a flowing river. With just a slight flap, ripples appeared in the air, and Lin Chen's entire body appeared thousands of feet away, more than 900 miles to the south. The scarlet flame red rhino collapsed to the side like a small mountain. 3 figures stood on its body. From the badges on their chests, they were the prodigies from the headquarters. TSK. The younger generation is really formidable. 13 people defeated a Tier 5 savage beast. If you guys enter the headquarters, I'm afraid you guys will overshadow us. If you guys were still at your peak, we wouldn't have dared to fight you guys directly if Senior Song didn't make a move. But now, scram. 2 slender and handsome young men sneered. Their blood tokens were pressed against the scarlet flame red rhino's body. With a flash of light, their blood tokens increased by 30,000, 30,000, and 40,000 points respectively. These 3 old bastards. Damn it, they ambushed us directly and took advantage of us, Ing Liang said unwillingly with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. Don't act rashly. These disciples of the headquarters are not weaker than us. In terms of cultivation, they're several levels above us. Yulin Lin's beautiful eyes flashed with a dignified look. As a blacksmith master, she detected that the red-robed fatty among the 3 was the most dangerous. From head to toe, His entire body was covered with precious high-grade artifacts. If they fought rashly, this person alone could suppress all of them. Where's Han Iji? Shangguan Bihan had just activated her purple golden eyes and was puzzled. Just as the three of them were about to leave, an ethereal spiritual wave turned into a violent storm and attacked the three of them. Because the spiritual wave exploded very close to them, the two young prodigies barely had time to react. The spiritual wave's penetrative power was extremely strong. It pierced through their spiritual consciousness like a battle spear. Their spiritual realms were only at the mid-stage of the spiritual realm, so they couldn't resist at all and fainted on the spot. A small and lithe person landed beside the three of them. The cute person pouted her small mouth. Her eyes were both timid and firm with courage. It was Han Iji. People whose spiritual realms hadn't reached a higher realm than him couldn't detect his presence. With a grab of her delicate little hand, Han Iji took the two's blood tokens. Just as she was about to take the red-robed fatty's token, Shangguan Bihan and Yu Linlin shouted at the same time. No! Han Iji looked up. The red-robed fatty revealed a sinister smile. He slowly stretched out his finger and flicked it. A stream of light completely penetrated Han Iji's fair calf. Blood spurted out. Chapter 173. The huge pain from her calf caused tears to flash in Han Iji's eyes as she clenched her teeth. Han Iji didn't give up. Instead, she formed a hand seal and once again activated the Genesis Holy Scripture that Lin Shun had taught her. 10 glass-colored spiritual sword energies circled above Han Iji's head and spun in the air, bursting out with spiritual sound as they pierced toward the red-clothed fatty. Bang, bang, bang. The red-clothed fatty didn't even move, but the 10 glass-colored sword energies exploded out of thin air. Han Iji's expression changed slightly. Just as she was about to retreat, the red-clothed fatty reached out his fat hand and grabbed Han Iji's short silver hair. He smiled cruelly. Your spiritual power has actually reached the spirit transformation realm. No wonder you're so strong. If a real Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator was sneak attacked by your spiritual power, they would probably faint on the spot. Unfortunately, you met me. Then, the red-clothed fatty sized up Han Iji from head to toe and laughed wretchedly. What a beauty. Let's take her back and play with her for a few days before releasing her. Han Iji was inexperienced. Being able to endure the pain of her calf being broken was already her limit. Seeing his wretched smile, tears streamed down her white cheeks, and her small face was filled with horror. Let go of Han Iji. The two girls suddenly shouted. Lu Lin waved her sleeves, and more than a dozen poisonous vipers appeared and attacked the red-clothed fatty. Yin Haidang quickly drew his bow, and the arrow was like lightning. The arrow soared through the sky, piercing the stars and shattering the moon. Crack bang! Their attacks didn't even reach the red-clothed fatty before they shattered on the spot. No one even saw how he attacked. Don't attack. He has high-grade treasures on him. You're not his match. Yu Linlin shouted anxiously. Just as he finished speaking, 2 energy waves suddenly exploded from the two girls' delicate bodies, and blood spilled into the void. Yin Haidang and Lu Lin fell from the void. Shangguan Bihan and Xiang Qinghong jumped up and caught them. The entire class 66 burst out with a terrifying, murderous aura. Everyone had gone through life and death together, and there was already a special bond between them. Seeing their companions being humiliated like this, everyone's hearts were filled with the desire to go all out. TSK, you want to go all out with me? Then I'll fulfill your wish. Kill the men and keep the women as slaves. It just so happens that I haven't had any fun in this damn place for the past few days. The red-clothed fatty grabbed Han Iji's silver hair and smiled coldly and cruelly. Just as everyone was about to fight to the death, Lin Chen's voice, which was as cold as 10,000 years old ice, echoed in the surroundings. Today, you will definitely die. Whoosh! A purple flaming aurora swept down from the sky as Lin Shun furiously rushed down from 1,000 feet in the air. He stomped his feet on the top of the red-robed fatty's head. Bang! Boom! The ground crumbled in an instant. The red-clothed fatty was standing on top of the scarlet flame, red rhino's corpse. Lin Shen's stomp landed heavily on the scarlet flame, red rhino's flesh. A huge earthquake occurred with the crimson flame, red rhino's corpse as the epicenter. The solid rocks were instantly shattered into pieces. All of the rock fragments were sent flying into the air. Cracks that were as thick as dragons spread out over a kilometer like lightning. Everyone in Class 66 almost lost their footing. Everyone retreat. Big Brother Lin Chun is angry. Big Brother Lin Chun, give this bastard a good beating. Everyone shouted excitedly as they retreated. More than 10 li smoke billowed and a strong wind blew. In the air, Lin Chun flapped his purple flame wings and hugged Han Yiji with both hands. His eyes emitted a murderous aura that could destroy stars. Chewing, Lin Chun casually ate some battle chi recovery pills and used the primordial water scripture to stabilize Han Yiji's injuries. Class Rep Lin Chun, you have to be careful. This person has a lot of treasures. Some can block battle chi attacks, some can defend against mental attacks, and some can launch sneak attacks. He's very dangerous, Han Yiji whispered in Lin Chen's arms. Her bright eyes stared at Lin Chen's face, her face burning with a faint crimson red. Don't worry, leave it to me. Lin Chen's expression and voice were somewhat cold. He released a gentle whirlwind in the air, sending Han Yiji to the side of Class 66. This time, Lin Chun was really angry. If he had come just a little later, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The smoke dispersed. The red-clothed fatty who had crawled out of the scarlet flame, rhinoceros's corpse, was completely unharmed. Lin Chun had used all his strength just now. A full 2 dragon force points had stepped on his head, but he hadn't even hurt a single hair on his head. Hee, looks like you're the leader of this group. Very strong, a body-refining martial artist. But, to me, the people I like to fight the most are body-refining martial artists. The red-clothed fatty laughed sinisterly. Lin Chun was expressionless. His 2 dragon force points were like cannonballs, his fists furiously punching out a dozen times. Pung! The wind from his fists crushed the red-clothed fatty's body. His robes suddenly fluttered, creating a ripple in the air. Under his robes, there was a purple armor hidden. This armor seemed to have the power of space. It was actually able to reflect Lin Chen's pure strength attack and transfer it to another space. The red-clothed fatty's footsteps moved slightly. His calves were like purple lightning, turning into a flash of light. His fat and thick palms slapped towards Lin Chun. From the center of his palm, a mysterious crystal light burst out, forming a triangular battle chi seal. At close range, it was branded on Lin Chen's chest. Clang! Pung! Pung! In the midst of the successive explosions, Lin Chen's figure rapidly retreated. His entire body was revolving with a golden light. He had transformed into a special metal-type bloodline. The Heavenly Dipper battle chi he displayed was indestructible. What's wrong? Where's your imposing manner from before? Ga. After I kill you, I'll have a good time playing with your brand school sluts. To be able to gain my favor, it's your good fortune from your previous lives. The red-clothed fatty had a fat head and big ears. When he laughed nastily, his saliva flew everywhere. It was nauseating. Suddenly, Lin Chen's purple phoenix wings were activated. In a flash, he turned in the air and appeared behind him. A sickle leg wrapped in Heavenly Dipper battle chi smashed downwards. The red-clothed fatty sneered disdainfully. With a flick of his finger, a dim light beam shot out from his fingertip and penetrated Lin Chen's calf. It almost broke his Heavenly Dipper battle chi defense. The air was torn apart. Borrowing the huge impact of the light beam, Lin Chen turned around like a swimming dragon. With a backhand punch, he activated his fire-type energy bloodline. His fist was blazing with flames and fiercely punched towards a red-clothed fatty's waist. The The red-robed fatty's belt flickered with a faint spatial radiance, and a vortex appeared out of nowhere, swallowing up the burning battle chi on Lin Shen's fist. Then a ferocious heat wave shot back at Lin Shen. Pong! Lin Shen landed heavily on the ground, and the hard rock layer around him instantly exploded. A shocking crack appeared on the ground, and countless pieces of rock were sent flying. Class Monitor Lin Shen. Big Brother Lin Shen. Everyone in Class 66 exclaimed. Could it be that even Big Brother Lin Shen was not this person's match? Chapter 174. So that's how it is. Your entire body is filled with treasures. Amidst the dust, Lin Shen patted the dust off his shoulders as he stepped out of the crack and smiled indifferently. At least you know your place. I am Luo Wanquan, the wealthiest man in the headquarters. Even the dean has to give face to my clan. In a spiritual state, there aren't many merchant groups that can compete with my clan. I never care if others are rich or not when I fight. Anyway, they're not as rich as me. Luo Wanquan snorted like an old man with a hint of pride and complacency. He might not be the son of the first wife, but his status in the Luo clan was considered above average, and the resources he received weren't little. Just his full body of artifacts was enough to allow him, a 9th-level Earth Realm martial artist, to challenge a 1st-level Heaven Dipper Realm expert. If he encountered a 2nd-level Heaven Dipper Realm expert, he would be able to retreat safely. We are really fated. I never look at the handsomeness of others when I fight. Anyway, they're not as handsome as me. Lin Shen smiled casually. Luo Wanquan's face instantly turned gloomy. Luo Wanquan, hated it when people talked about his appearance in front of him. Since you're rich, let's see who the F***CK is richer today. As Lin Shen yelled, he grabbed the air with one hand, and a small mountain of incandescent aurora stones floated above his head. Luo Wanquan's eyes widened as greed and shock flashed in his eyes. Incandescent aurora stones. He wasn't unfamiliar with this item. Their Luo clan's merchant group could fully utilize the value of any commodity. The rarer the treasure, the more they valued it. The incandescent aurora stones that contained light attribute energy were priceless. They were supreme-grade ores that could topple countries. This kid actually is close to 100 incandescent aurora stones. Luo Wanquan's heart was filled with crazed greed as he swallowed his saliva and stared at Lin Shen. Let's see if you are richer or I am richer today. Lin Shen smirked as he pushed his palm forward and injected thunder attribute battle chi. 10 incandescent aurora stones were instantly thrown out. Is this kid's brain flooded? Why did you throw the incandescent aurora stone at me? Luo Wanquan was both delighted and shocked. He had originally wanted to dodge, but he couldn't resist the temptation of the incandescent aurora stone. He believed that with the artifacts on him, Lin Shen wouldn't be a threat to him. When the incandescent aurora stone was less than 50 feet away from Luo Wanquan, it suddenly glowed with a violent energy surrounded by lightning. Wave after wave of light energy became turbulent and ferocious. Luo Wanquan turned pale with fright. The moment before the aurora bloomed, it illuminated his last expression before his death. Boom! Bang! Come on, let's see if you have more money or I do. Lin Shen threw the remaining 90-plus incandescent aurora stones he had in the Evil King Mystic Realm towards Luo Wanquan. Boom! 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 Bang! The earth-shattering aurora storm swept across the sky, gradually expanding to several thousand feet. The moment before the energy explosion reached its peak, Lin Shen suddenly spread out his purple phoenix wings and threw out a few rays of metal elemental battle aura that transformed into several golden whips, binding the entire class and bringing them away from the explosion area. This explosion alarmed the Invigilators, and even they hesitated for a moment. It's over. Luo Wanquan is done for. Damn it, I don't know what kind of monster this kid is, using the incandescent aurora stones as consumables. Luo Wanquan's character isn't that good. It's fine if he dies. Who told him to provoke this kid? But the rules don't seem to state the punishment for killing a student of the headquarters. How should we deal with this? The invigilators looked at each other, and the old man in linen couldn't help but laugh and scold. Damn it, why do you care so much about him? With this kid's talent, it's enough for the higher-ups to change the rules of the examination. All right, let's continue to watch the show. Host has received 30,000 rune energy, 40,000 rune energy, 30,000 rune energy, 2,750,000 battle aura essences. The host has received 9,800 points of light energy, 10,000 points of light energy, 20,000 points of light energy. Lin Shun took away the attribute light balls dropped by Luo Wanquan and the last batch of attribute light balls dropped by the incandescent aurora stones. In addition, Lin Shun took away the numerous precious weapons dropped from Luo Wanquan's spiritual receiving ring, as well as the high-level precious weapons that he had been wearing, except for the slightly damaged ones. As for Luo Wanquan himself, he had already been blown to smithereens. Dark Heaven's secret light ring, space moving armor, purple light soft armor, green soul, godly running shoes. Wow, Brother Lin Shun, this guy is really rich. Ying Liang counted the high-level precious weapons excitedly, and Lin Shun nodded. This guy's background is indeed extraordinary. Let's let Yin Haitang and the other students choose first. They have paid a great price for this battle. In the end, Lu Lin, Yin Haitang, and the other girls chose some defensive precious weapons, while the boys chose some offensive ones. Because the girls were obsessed with cleanliness, they did not want to use the precious weapons that Luo Wanquan had worn. Thus, Yu Lin Lin, the master of forging, personally remodeled these precious weapons. Lin Shun led everyone to a 10,000-year-old ancient tree to rest temporarily, and took away all the valuable items from the Red Flame rhinoceros. As for the two prodigies from the general compound who had been affected, they had already fled in panic when they had just woken up and were nowhere to be seen. At night, everyone set up a bonfire, and Lin Shun personally roasted the rhinoceros. Han Yiji handed over the 2 blood tokens from before, and together with Luo Wanquan's 1, everyone split 100,000 points on the spot. Lin Shun looked at his own blood token. After killing Luo Wanquan, his points did not show any signs of decreasing. Perhaps it was because the chief examiner did not expect the branch school to be able to kill a prodigy from the general compound. After eating and drinking to their fill, everyone began to cultivate and adjust their breathing. Lin Shun sat on the top of the ancient tree to keep watch for everyone. Class monitor, aren't you going to rest for a while? A clear voice rang out like a clear spring. Lin Shun turned his head and saw Han Yiji wearing a windbreaker. Her petite body looked a little frail under the moonlight. I'm not tired yet. What's wrong? Lin Shun smiled casually. While keeping watch, he was observing how much the Azure Dragon bloodline and Azure Dragon's origin had merged in his Dantian. Looking at the current speed, he would be able to complete it before dawn tomorrow. Class monitor, you're really amazing. Not only can you refine medicine, you can also play music, and you're also very strong. Han Yiji sat down less than a meter away from Lin Shun and said longingly, No. The most important thing is that you're so handsome. Lin Shun shrugged and smiled casually. Yes, you're handsome and confident. I've always dreamed of becoming someone like you, strong and confident. Han Yiji sighed enviously. Chapter 175. Everyone has their own differences. The most important thing is to take action and experience. However, it's normal for a young and beautiful girl like you to have not experienced to this extent. Lin Shun waved his hand casually. Han Yiji was stunned. A strange blush appeared on her fair cheeks. She was about to explain. All right, Yiji, can you help me keep watch? 1-4. Okay, Han Yiji agreed without hesitation. Lin Shun thanked her and immediately sat down cross-legged. Seeing Lin Shun suddenly enter a state of cultivation, Han Yiji muttered, Then I'll tell the class monitor next time. At the same time, Lin Shun entered his cultivation state. His spiritual consciousness sneaked into his mini-spirit receiving rings. In less than 15 minutes, Lin Shun found his target. It was a beautiful devil's snare sealed in a high-grade secret box. It was overflowing with strong and hot energy fluctuations. It was like a passionate beauty sealed in a box. This was the blazing devil snare that Lin Shun had obtained in the last volcano in the Evil King's secret realm. This blazing devil snare was an extremely rare treasure. To be precise, it only had pure fire energy and did not have any grades. Therefore, Lin Shun was unable to identify its grade. However, its energy was unusually strong and domineering. The previous Lin Shun could not withstand this energy at all. He also did not know what kind of pill formula to use this blazing devil snare. Previously, Lin Shun did not have enough strength to directly absorb this blazing devil snare. However, now that his physical body had been refined to the dragon's force realm, he could try to absorb the energy of this blazing devil snare. If I can successfully absorb it, my fire energy should be able to increase by a lot. When the time comes and I transform it into a special energy bloodline, its power will probably increase by more than double. Lin Shun took out the blazing devil snare box from his spatial ring and transformed his entire body into a special fire bloodline. Lin Shun's entire body turned into a ball of red flames. He opened his mouth and swallowed the blazing devil snare. As soon as it entered his mouth, he circulated the fire elemental meridian route of the 9 tribulations of creation at full speed. Pure fire attribute energy erupted like 100 volcanoes. The flames around Lin Shun's body instantly expanded by more than 10 times. Host has received 50,000 points of fire energy, 100,000 points of fire energy, 80,000 points of fire energy. Lin Shun's fire element energy rose in a straight line, and the system screen kept popping up. What kind of cultivation technique is Class Rep Lin Shun practicing? It's actually so overbearing. Han Iji was slightly surprised and quickly released her spiritual force to cover the surrounding area to prevent any creatures from disturbing Lin Shun. Lin Shun clenched his teeth. Although his flesh shell had withstood the impact of the blazing Dachira, the fire energy it contained far exceeded the speed at which Lin Shun could absorb it. This won't do. If this continues, the overflowing energy will be wasted and scattered between heaven and earth. Just as Lin Shun was at a loss for what to do, 2 purple flames bloomed between heaven and earth. Boom! The wings were like flames and were bright and clear. Lin Shun's true flame purple phoenix wings actually unfolded uncontrollably. Right now, the purple phoenix wings were around 30 meters long and were circulating with purple flames. The boundless fire attribute energy that Lin Shun couldn't suppress suddenly turned to the true flame purple phoenix wings, causing every single feather to be flowing with purple flames. Before Lin Shun could even rejoice, there was a second wave of aura. Crack, crack! A crisp sound echoed. His 9-colored battle soul was revolving rapidly in his dantian, and the 8th level of the Chi Sea was born. Host has advanced to the 8th level of the Earth realm. The moment the system screen popped up, Lin Shun's cultivation had steadily stepped into the 8th level of the Earth realm. He was delighted, but didn't say anything. He focused on absorbing the energy from the blazing Dachira. After a night of rest and recuperation, everyone's initial recovery was completed. For this night, the one with the greatest harvest was none other than Lin Shun. After the purple phoenix wings absorbed the energy from the blazing Dachira, its speed increased drastically. Lin Shun's fire attribute energy had reached an unprecedented 7.8 million points. Let's go. Let's continue searching for the tier 5 ferocious beasts on the giant whale island. We will kill every single one we see. Lin Shun waved his hand domineeringly and laughed heartily. Everyone in Class 66 was invigorated. With the current foundation and strength of the Desolate Region Branch Institution, there were probably only a handful of existences on the giant whale island that could threaten them. 12 days later, 7,800 miles south of the giant whale island, everyone in Class 66 took out their blood tokens and divided the points equally. Right now, everyone in the class had more than 30,000 points. In these 12 days, under Lin Chen's lead, Class 66 hunted 6 tier, 5 ferocious beasts. After Lin Chen personally killed the tier 5 ferocious beasts, they dropped a tribute light balls. His blood and chi energy rose rapidly. Lin Chen's pure strength had just broken through 4 dragon power points. Now, killing tier 5 ferocious beasts wouldn't drop too many attribute light balls. With our current strength, we have a high chance of defeating the second Overlord tier 5 ferocious beast. Lin Chen put away the map and stood on top of the mountain, gazing at a pink forest on the horizon. That was the second tier 5 Overlord tier 5 ferocious beast nest, the demonic dream disk. Let's go. This time, we'll head to the demonic dream disk's nest. Lin Chen led the class into the pink forest. Inside the pink forest, mist lingered and filled the air. It was like a dream. Under a towering ancient tree, pink cocoons were formed. They pulsed with life energy as if a newborn was about to be born. The soft and sweet voice of a woman echoed faintly from under the ancient tree. Hee, another human has come to die. Which one should I let my children eat first this time? Outside the pink forest, a group of people quietly appeared. Lin Chen, Han Yiji, and Shangwan Bihan stood at the front of the group. The 3 of them had the strongest insight and observation skills. Once there was any movement, they would immediately react. This place is filled with pink mist. Why does it look a little creepy? I only feel that other than the demonic dream disk, there shouldn't be any other ferocious beasts living in this damn place. Ying Liang and Zhang Yu muttered in a low voice. Suddenly, Lin Chen and Han Yiji's expressions changed. The pink mist in the forest suddenly began to blow, and a fierce wind howled. The surrounding hurricanes formed a spiritual tide storm. Wong wong wong. A spiritual tide sound was transmitted. Everyone felt the world spin, and the surroundings were divided into 4 different plates. Lin Chen's eyes were sharp, and his hands were fast. He punched out, causing the space to distort and the surrounding mist to be shaken. Bang bang. The wind from the punch caused the surrounding forest to disintegrate, but still couldn't stop the strange spiritual fog from isolating everyone. What a good little brother. His meat shell is refined, and he's still young. Sucking him will definitely feel good. A charming and soft voice echoed in the forest. The thick mist appeared again. At this time, everyone in Class 66 had disappeared. Only Lin Chen was left in the same place. Chapter 176. Giant Whale Island by the shore. The examiners and the hemp-clothed old man all showed hesitation. These little fellows had actually broken into the illusory dream demon disk's nest. The illusory dream demon disk is different from other fierce beasts. To people whose mental strength is not high, it is much more destructive than the other overlord-level fierce beasts. That Lin Chen brat's potential is not bad, but his mental strength should not be above the illusory dream demon discs. The examiners were a little hesitant. They had been calm in the beginning, but after seeing Lin Chen's potential and battle strength, they were moved by their love for talent. Even if Lin Chen did not fall in the illusory dream demon disk's nest, once he received any kind of mental injury, it would cause permanent damage to a person's potential. Damn, look at all of you. At first you were cold like ice, but after seeing his potential, you're like cats smelling fish. The hemp-clothed old man curled his lips, and the examiners looked at him with disdain. One of them was angry and found it funny at the same time. I don't know which rotten old man it was, but when he saw him fighting with a vicious devil azure dragon, he was so worried that he wandered around. The hemp-clothed old man's expression did not change, as if he did not hear anything. Inside the pink forest, the entire class suddenly disappeared. This strange scene would cause anyone to be on guard. But they did not know that Lin Chen's mouth had a strange smile. In a red wasp forest 10 miles away from Lin Chen, an enchanting and exquisite figure walked over. The beauty was wearing a pink robe. Her skin was like cream. Her lips were cherry red, and her delicate ears were adorned with jade-studded earrings. Following the beautiful lines of her collarbone were full mountains that were about to burst out of her robe. Her blue, rippling eyes were filled with a charm that seeped into one's bones. She was tender and alluring, like a ripe peach blooming, constantly tempting others to pluck her. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. This pink-robed beauty was a form formed by the illusionary dream demon disk's mental energy. To be able to use spiritual force to take form, this illusory dream demon disk is probably half a step into the spirit transformation realm. If it wasn't for Iji, I wouldn't have dared to bring the entire class in. Lin Shun was secretly shocked. The pink-robed beauty was lying gracefully on a red bee tree, casting coquettish glances at Lin Shun. The beauty lifted the hem of her pink robe, revealing her smooth and slender legs. When she slowly lifted them up, she breathed out her fragrance and smiled charmingly. "Little brother, why do you still want to be a human? You could be together with Big Sister and degenerate to your heart's content. Isn't it good to enjoy the pleasures of intimacy?" Lin Xuan swallowed his saliva subconsciously. Who the F***CK could withstand this? Luckily, I'm an artist who's watched a few tease erotic films. Otherwise, I would have really died here today. Lin Feng sighed his heart and said seriously, "That's right. Miss, if you're not married, please take care of yourself. If you're married, please be worthy of your other half. If you're selling, please tell me your price. If you're just trying to leak, then please leak more, because I can't see clearly." The beautiful woman giggled. Her red lips gently nibbled on her slender, jade-like fingers. Her slightly raised, jade-green eyes looked teasingly at Lin Shun. "Little brother, why are you saying such unromantic words? How could I be selling? I'm just playing a game with you, the happiest game in the world." Every frown and smile of the illusionary dream demon disk exuded the most seductive charm of a human woman. If it was an ordinary person, they would have already pounced on her like crazy. Bang, bang, bang. Just at this moment, two thunderous roars shook the entire forest, and a group of people slowly appeared. It was Ying Liang, Gu Chanfeng, Zhang Yu, Bai Juanhao, Qin Xiaofeng, and the others. What? Shouldn't these youths be lost in my illusionary dream, demon realm? How they come out so quickly? The illusionary dream demon disk's long and charming eyes suddenly narrowed, and a bad feeling arose in her heart. When Ying Liang, Qin Xiaofeng, and the others saw Lin Shun, their faces lit up and they jogged over. Oh, a few more little brothers came. This servant's heart is very itchy. Little brothers, why aren't you coming over? The illusionary dream demon disk seemed to be impatient or anxious to charm everyone. The boys ran to Lin Shen's side, and before they could speak, they saw the pink-robed beauty in front of them. Other than Gu Chenfeng, everyone sucked in a cold breath. Who is this beauty? So fierce, so fierce. Qin Xiaofeng and Ying Liang clicked their tongues in wonder, while Lin Shen smiled. It should be the illusionary dream demon disk. What? The beast is in human form? It can even speak? Everyone was shocked. The illusionary dream demon disk revealed its back and said lazily and seductively with its back facing everyone, "As long as you satisfy me, you can all leave." Hearing this, the boys swallowed their saliva at the same time. "Brothers, leave quickly. This girl is too fierce. I'll bring up the rear." Qin Xiaofeng, who had always been timid, showed a "if I don't go to hell, who will?" attitude and solemnly looked at everyone. "Brothers, I can't hold on any longer. In the future, if everyone in Heavenly Song Academy asks how I, Qin Xiaofeng, died, you must tell everyone that I, Xiaofeng, sacrificed myself for friendship." Hearing this, Ying Liang grieved and grabbed Qin Xiaofeng's arm. "Xiaofeng, don't go. We've been friends and brothers for so many years. Are we going to part like this? This mission is too heavy. Let me do it." "No, Brother Liang, you and I have been friends for so many years. I can't let you be in danger. Leave this to me. Everyone leave quickly. I'll definitely delay this fierce, which for everyone." Qin Xiaofeng was willing to sacrifice himself for justice. His expression was solemn and stirring. "Little brother Feng, No, you're still young. You have a bright future ahead of you. I don't have much of a future. I haven't had sex since I was young. Let me go. Brother Liang, we became sworn brothers under the latrine. Didn't we agree to sacrifice ourselves for each other? How can I go back on my word? Let me go. Ing Liang grabbed Qin Xiaofeng and said angrily, Damn it, we've been brothers for so many years. Shouldn't you let the eldest brother do it now? You usually flirt with so many girls. What's wrong with letting me do it once? You even call yourself a brother. I've wasted a brother like you. Seeing these two brothers who had shown their true colors through adversity, Bai Juanhao laughed crazily. Gu Qinfeng's heart did not waver. He even wanted to dig his nose. Someone Lin could not stand it anymore and shouted, Enough! What are the two of you doing in broad daylight? Have you never seen a woman in your previous life? How can such behavior that corrupts one's character and affects the social atmosphere appear in our class 66? Get out of the way and let me do it. The two brothers were speechless. F***CK. Are you still human? How can you say such things? You've charmed all the girls in our class. You won't even let this one go. You won't even leave the soup for us. Chapter 177. Boom! A hurricane swept across, and the pink fog dissipated. The girls of Class 66 also appeared. After the girls appeared, they immediately stared at Lin Chen. They seemed angry, and a faint blush lingered on their cheeks. It was like 100 flowers competing to be the most beautiful. Lin Chen was dumbfounded. Chenji, I didn't do anything. What happened to them? They made it seem like I molested them and didn't recognize them when I pulled up my pants. What Lin Shun didn't know was that the illusory realm demon dream would strike the deepest part of a person's consciousness and manifest the person they desired the most. It was obvious that the girls of Class 66 saw Lin Shun in the illusory realm demon dream. Lin Shun didn't do anything in the real world, but it was different in the illusory realm demon dream. On the other hand, the illusory realm demon disc was completely panicking. Its illusory realm demon dream could even trap a heaven star border realm cultivator. How did these earth star border realm humans break through its illusory realm in such a short time? Outside the pink forest, in a forest that was 100 feet tall, 5 young talents walked into the forest leisurely. 5 people, 3 males and 2 females. Some walked with swords on their backs. Their eyes were filled with thousands of sword chi. With a sword in hand, their killing intent soared to the sky. Some were unruly and arrogant. Their battle chi cultivation had already touched the threshold of the heaven star border realm. The red-haired youth in the lead had a saber at his waist. He was cold and domineering. His cultivation had already reached the half-step heaven star border realm. The strongest prodigy participating in the General Institute's examination was Yao Wuji from the General Institute. Half-step Heaven Star Border Realm, a peerless genius who could step into the Heaven Star Border Realm at any time. Inside the Pink Forest. Who are you? Why did you break through my illusory realm demon dream so easily? The illusory realm demon disc's spiritual human roared in a somewhat deranged manner. She looked around her territory and didn't find any traces of breaking through the illusory realm. Because we have a little cutie with spirit transformation realm spiritual power, the illusory realm demon disc. I didn't expect that we would break through the illusory realm so easily. The corners of Lin Chen's lips curled up into a sneer. Impossible, you're lying. How could I not know that someone has entered the spirit transformation realm in my territory? The illusion dire beast disc's spiritual level was extremely high, and it could speak very clearly. It had the intelligence of most Class 5 dire beasts. Unfortunately, my spirit transformation realm spiritual force is quite unique. If my spiritual force can't surpass my cultivation level, I won't be able to find it. While Lin Shan was talking with the illusory dream demon disc, Yin Haitang, Shengwan Bihan, Gu Chunfeng, and Bai Juanhao had already surrounded the forest behind the spiritual figure. It said that the illusory dream demon disc's strength lies in its ability to release fog and use spiritual attacks. Once its true body is discovered, it's the same as being a live target. Lin Shen's eyes were as sharp as lightning. His heart sutra revolved the fire attribute bloodline energy, and his legs turned into two balls of blazing fire. Lin Shen's feet suddenly stomped on the ground. Bang! Ka ka ka! The pure power of four dragon powers was released like a tsunami. The wild and hot fire energy was transmitted into the ground like a 10,000-year-old magma erupting. A pillar of fire suddenly shot into the sky from the forest behind the spiritual figure of the illusion dire beast disc. It exploded with a wave of heat and a storm of fire. Gee! The spiritual figure of the illusion dire beast disc let out an ear-piercing shriek before disappearing into nothingness. The dozens of feet-long illusion dire beast disc flew out from the forest. It flapped its wings and flew toward the people behind Lin Shun. Wong Wong. Its entire body was covered in a sticky pink liquid. Its two antennae were constantly trembling, releasing a high-frequency spiritual force that attacked everyone's spiritual force. With a flap of its wings, the illusionary demon disc stirred up a tornado-like, illusory spiritual storm that swept towards Lin Shun. Genesis, Holy Scripture, Spirit Transformation. Lin Shen's spiritual force had not surpassed the illusion dire beast disc. His spiritual force released a snow-white light that covered himself, forcefully resisting the illusion dire beast disc's spiritual force storm. Seeing that Lin Shun had a spiritual defense, the illusion dire beast disc immediately changed its target to someone else. Fuck, Brother Liang, I'll leave this place to you. I'll leave first. Qin Xiaofeng did not say anything else, and quickly used his movement technique to run. Fuck, all these years of being brothers were fake. Ying Liang could not help cursing. He endured the feeling of his spiritual force being shaken. Just as he was about to forcefully retreat, the illusion dire beast disc had already closed in on Ying Liang. It opened its bloody mouth, and there were countless spiral teeth that formed a circle. If he was bitten, he would be turned into meat paste on the spot. Brother Liang, don't move, Qin Xiaofeng shouted. He held a blood-red dagger in his hand and slashed out a blood-red blade aura filled with killing intent. The blade aura suddenly slashed into the illusion dire beast disc's abyss mouth, causing its movements to pause. The strong wind from the collision sent Ying Liang flying back several dozen meters. Chaotic ice dance. Star-binding arrow. Hundreds of twisting lightning arrows shot through the air. Along with them were icy light beams from the two sides, forming a binding lock that locked the illusion dire beast disc. Chi-chi. The ice froze the illusion dire beast disc's wings, causing it to temporarily lose the ability to fly. Beautifully done. Lin Shun cheered loudly. His entire body was surrounded by azure light. The ancient azure dragon was suddenly released by Lin Shun, and it pounced onto the illusion dire beast disc. Gee, azure dragon. Why is it an azure dragon? Human, how could you possibly raise an azure dragon? The illusion dire beast disc screamed hysterically. Lin Shun controlled the ancient azure dragon to tear and bite. The ancient azure dragon tore the illusion dire beast disc's body into several pieces on the spot. Lin Shun leaped up and punched the illusion dire beast disc's head, killing it on the spot. At this time, the ancient azure dragon's pure strength was already 9 dragon force. It was already comparable to a peak Heaven Dipper realm second layer. It was easy for the ancient azure dragon to tear apart the illusion dire beast disc with its weak body. Seeing their class monitor's ancient azure dragon again, everyone in class 66 was still filled with shock. To be able to carry such a divine beast around, they would feel a sense of security no matter where they went. After storing the ancient azure dragon into his body, Lin Shun excitedly looked at the attribute light balls all over the ground. These attribute light balls were all spiritual attribute. He wondered if he would be able to step into the spirit transformation realm after absorbing all of them. After the illusion dire beast disc died, the fog began to gradually disappear. At this time, Lin Shun and the rest did not have time to clean up the battlefield. 5 figures quietly appeared in the forest, instantly causing everyone in Class 66 to be on guard. Who is it? Bai Juanhao activated his azure dragon bloodline. His entire body was covered in dark azure dragon scales. His dragon aura was domineering, and his aura was like an evil dragon. He stood at the back of the entire class. What a powerful group of new students. They actually defeated the illusion dire beast disc. You guys are from the Desolate Region branch that defeated the Sky Region branch, right? I didn't expect such a group of geniuses to appear in such a barbaric place. The girl's chuckle was clear and melodious like a bell, echoing in the forest. After the 5 people revealed their true appearance, the entire class could not help but feel a little dignified and fearful. The young man in the lead was actually a half-step heaven dipper realm. Chapter 178. Leave the illusion demon disc's corpse. You guys get lost. The red-haired youth, Yao Wuji, said coldly. His attitude was extremely domineering. He didn't put Lin Shun and the others in his eyes at all. Shangguan Bihan secretly used her purple gold eyes and couldn't help but feel her heart skip a beat. Other than Yao Wuji, everyone on the other side was equally powerful. Whether it was the artifacts or techniques on them, the pressure they gave off was second only to Luo Wanquan. Outside Whale Island, the examiners had solemn expressions. Whether it was Yao Wuji or Lin Shun, they were both the top prodigies of Heavenly Song Academy in the future. From the perspective of the Academy, the most frightening thing in this kind of battle between top prodigies was that both sides had killing intent, which could lead to the loss of the entire Academy. Forget it. Instead of getting a mediocre prodigy, it's better to let them fight each other and pick out the real powerhouse who has the ability to stand at the peak. The old man's eyes lit up, and the examiners couldn't help but sigh deeply. There's nothing to pity. Didn't we go through the same thing in the past? The old man's eyes flashed with nostalgia, as if he was thinking of his past self. The atmosphere in the pink forest was tense. Everyone in Class 66 habitually spread out in their familiar positions. If the 5 opponents dared to make any moves, all kinds of secret techniques would erupt like a storm. I have to say, you people from the headquarters are really domineering. You want people to die and get lost at the slightest provocation. Have you ever considered the consequences of being pressed to the ground? Lin Shun chuckled in a relaxed manner. No matter how strong Yao Wuji's half-step heaven dipper realm cultivation was, Lin Shun wasn't afraid. I gave you face, but you didn't want it. Get lost. Yao Wuji's leg was like a shadow, sweeping out a stream of energy that merged with heaven and earth. It was like the edge of a blade. It was so fast that almost no one in Class 66 except Lin Shun could react. Chi-Chi. The purple phoenix wings rolled out a purple flame, and the energy hit the hard ground. A python-like crack instantly burst open. Amazing, amazing, what a strong athlete's foot. Brother, do you want to use my special dogskin plaster to treat athlete's foot? The purple phoenix wings flapped as Lin Shun floated in the air, laughing mockingly. The 2 female seniors from the General Hospital couldn't help but burst into laughter, but they immediately realized that they had lost their composure. They pretended to be serious, but in fact, they couldn't help but laugh. Get rid of these guys and snatch the illusory dream demon disc's corpse. Endless Brilliance's veins bulged as he spun around in the air. His legs danced in the air as he slashed out a series of fierce gales that destroyed the entire pink forest. Heart-piercing poison palm, soul-chasing arrow. Blood dragon devour. The people from Class 66 reacted faster than the 4 people from HQ. They immediately attacked, 3 against 1. With the transformation of his metal attribute bloodline, Lin Shin's heavenly dipper battle chi was like a wild dragon emerging from the sea. A streak of golden light swallowed up Yao Wuji's attack. Lin Shin clenched his fist and punched out in anger. The four-dragon strength was like the power of a demon god, shattering the void. The wind from his fist fiercely smashed into endless Yao. His expression changed slightly, and Yao Wuji's hand blade turned into an afterimage, slashing out a blade light that could cut through wind and waves. Pung! The blade light exploded, and the remaining four-dragon strength still had enough power to pierce through endless brilliance, shattering his battle chi defense. Pucci, spitting out fresh blood, endless brilliance stared in disbelief at the bloodstains on his hand and chest. I was actually injured by a bastard from the branch school. Lin Chen's pure strength-killing power was already close to the peak of Heavenly Dipper Realm. The taste of being hit was not good. If not for Endless Brilliance's special physique, this punch was enough to shatter his bones. Take your people and leave this place. This is my last advice to you, otherwise die, Lin Chen indifferently said. His attribute light balls were scattered in all directions because of the battle. He did not have the mood to continue playing with these people. Ha ha ha! What a joke! This young master's bloodline is noble, born in the 9 Suns, a natural-born sovereign. When did a bastard born in the desolate region like you have the right to warn me? Endless Brilliance looked up to the sky and laughed wildly. The killing intent and brutality between his brows became even more intense. Lin Chen's eyes flashed with rage. He completely revolved his fire attribute battle chi and transformed it into a special bloodline. Damn it, all of you people from a main school think too highly of yourselves. This young master will kill all of you superior dogs today. When he clenched and retracted his fist, rolling flames flowed on Lin Chen's right fist. The fire attribute energy was like 10,000 volcanoes erupting at the same time. The tyrannical and blazing fist wind caused the space to distort. Bang! The fist wind tornado swept through the mountains and rivers like a giant flaming beast. Along the way, it destroyed many towering ancient trees in the pink forest and ignited a large fire. What? The fist wind hit Endless Brilliance. He was caught off guard and forcefully revolved his battle chi to receive Lin Chen's fist. Boom! The fist wind swept past. A small mountain of more than 300 feet in the south of the pink forest was punched through by Lin Chen's fist wind and ignited a mountain fire. The students of the main school looked sideways. If they were hit by this fist, even if they did not die, they would be crippled for the rest of their lives. Equivalent to a Heaven Dipper Realm second stage attack, 8 million points of fire attribute energy combined with pure strength is indeed powerful. Lin Shan was delighted, but before he could be happy, a pillar of battle chi bloomed from the void. Endless Brilliance's entire body was burnt. His red hair fluttered in the wind as he walked in the air. He was evil and looked like a demon king. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered with him as the center, forming a huge red spiritual energy vortex. Yang attribute battle chi surged from his body like a rising sun, igniting the spiritual energy in a radius of 10 miles. His battle chi fluctuation was more than 10 times stronger than Lin Chen's. Oh, in order to fight with me, he even broke through to the Heaven Dipper realm. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. He just hoped that the other party would back off. He did not expect the other party to be so shameless and want to kick Class 66 out of here. Is he crazy? He actually forcefully stepped into the Heaven Dipper realm at this juncture in order to get the Illusion Demon Disc's wings and Fierce Beast cores. This guy even put his own future on the line. He really is a madman. AI too reckless. Forcefully entering the Heaven Dipper realm like this can't be considered a perfect advancement. There might be many problems in the future. The prodigies of the headquarters who had just started fighting sighed inwardly or shook their heads in disappointment. Endless Brilliance was bathed in yang fire, looking majestic as he became the center of this world. He, Endless Brilliance, was a famous figure in the headquarters. If he was defeated by a lowly student and returned empty-handed, then he really did not have the face to stay in the headquarters anymore. I have to admit, if I did not step into the Heaven Dipper realm. Even if I used a 9-yang physique, I would have to use all my strength just now. Now, I have paid the price. It's your turn, he said coldly. With a flick of his sleeves, he transferred the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into his own battle chi and punched out. Right above Lin Chen's head, a dazzling yang fire energy fist fell from the sky like a fist of judgment. Chapter 179. The yang fire energy fist was as big as a field. It smashed down with a domineering aura that could suppress everything in the world. It wanted to destroy Lin Chun in one punch. I gave you face, but you didn't want it. If you want to fight, then let's fight to our heart's content today. Lin Chen's aura shook. His entire body seemed to be burning with red flames. His fist was like a war drum as he waved it towards the sky. Bang! The mountains and rivers trembled. Fist against fist collided. The fist burning with flames collided with the yang fire energy fist, causing a devastating storm of yang fire to erupt. Lin Chun punched with both fists, shattering the yang fire energy fist in half a breath's time. Yao Wuji flew over. The two of them, one yang and one fire, their fists were like raging waves. In an instant, they collided once again. Bang, bang, bang. The airflow collapsed and the space distorted. The two fought from the sky to the ground. Along the way, the aftermath of the collision shattered and burned everything. Everyone in Class 66 immediately retreated. No one dared to get close to the two of them. Lin Chun had converted his bloodline into fire energy. Combined with pure strength, his strength was comparable to a Heaven Dipper realm second level. Yao Wuji had the 9-yang bloodline, a unique physique that was 1 in a billion. When he was half a step into the Heaven Dipper realm, he was already familiar with the Heaven Dipper realm's spiritual energy control and control. Even if he stepped into the Heaven Dipper realm on the spot, he could still perfectly display the strength of a higher realm. It was another full-force collision of fists. 2 energy shockwaves exploded. Neither side was willing to budge an inch. Their attacks resumed. Yang fire flashed. Yao Wuji's knee was like a meteor that reversed and rushed towards Lin Chun. His burning elbow slashed down like a guillotine. Lin Chun, who had smashed away Yao Wuji's knee, turned around and punched his opponent's abdomen. Bang! With a loud sound, Yao Wuji's abdomen was injured. He was the first to be injured. Lin Chun caught the attribute light ball that dropped from his body. The system screen popped up. Host has received a Yang attribute light ball. It has automatically converted 170,000 points of fire energy. Host has received 25 million battle chi essence. 3 for million battle chi essence. This attribute light ball contained a large amount of battle chi essence and Yang energy. The more Lin Chun fought, the more courageous he became. Taking advantage of his victory, he ruthlessly punched Infinite Yao's chest. Fire energy exploded as the dragon force penetrated his body. While Endless Glory was coughing up blood, Lin Chun attacked him from the sky. Lin Chen's attributes soared, and like 2 meteors, they fell into the pink forest together. Boom! The two of them fell to the ground, shattering the ground and creating a 100-zhang-long crater. Host has advanced to the 9th level of the Earth realm. When a light screen popped up, Lin Chun actually stepped into the 9th stage not long after breaking through the 8th stage. As expected of a peerless prodigy in the headquarters. Just the attribute light ball, dropped by a Heavenly Dipper realm stage, one brought such a strong attribute value. Lin Chun was only 1 step away from the Heaven Dipper realm. Other than that, his fire energy had also soared to 5 million points, becoming a whole new level higher than before. Casually breaking off Endless Radiance's spirit receiving ring, Lin Chun walked out of the crater. All the battles stopped. When the 4 people from the headquarters saw that Endless Radiance was no longer breathing, they couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. 2 male cadets quickly fled. I didn't expect this batch of new juniors to be so formidable. I, as your senior, shall not interfere in your matters. Farewell." The two female seniors smiled apologetically, bowed slightly, and then left through the air. After seeing this result, the chief examiners who were secretly spying were completely shocked. Yao Wuji forcefully stepped into the Heaven Dipper realm and still wasn't a match for Lin Shun. All the chief examiners believed that Lin Shun had to release the ancient Azure Dragon in order to resist the Heaven Dipper realm Yao Wuji. That day when he fought with the devilish Azure Dragon, he didn't have such strength. Now that his cultivation and combat strength had a new breakthrough, his growth speed is abnormally fast. It seems like we made the right bet. This time, a ferocious individual is going to appear in the headquarters assessment. Ha! This old man is looking forward to seeing the expressions on those little brats' faces when they enter the general courtyard. Just as all the chief examiners were laughing and discussing, only the old man in the linen robe was meaningfully sizing up the situation in the Pink Forest. The show isn't over yet. In the Pink Forest, "Big brother, you're so powerful. This guy isn't even a match for you after breaking through to the Heaven Dipper realm." Bai Juanhao was the first to rush up and said with envy and admiration, "It's mainly because he's courting death. I've already asked him to leave, but he insisted on fighting with me." Lin Shun casually tossed Yao Wuji's soul storage ring to Bai Juanhao. After that, he released the Azure Dragon arm and casually swept it up, picking up a large number of attribute light balls. Host has received 20,000 spiritual power. Host has received 30,000 spiritual power. Host has received 28,000 spiritual power. A large number of spiritual power attribute points rose crazily. Lin Chen's spiritual power attribute had never risen so quickly before. 400,000, 450,000, 500,000, 600,000, 800,000 points. After picking up all the attribute light balls, Lin Chen's spiritual power attribute points soared all the way to 800,000 points before stopping. Suddenly, Lin Shun felt that his spiritual power had become incomparably gentle, and his spiritual senses had been magnified several times. Spiritual power of the spirit transformation realm. When Lin Chen's spiritual power reached 600,000 points, he had forcefully stepped into the spirit transformation realm. When his spiritual power reached 700,000 points, his spiritual power was even more stable. When Lin Chen's spiritual power stabilized at the spirit transformation realm, a brand new memory appeared in his mind. When Taisher was born, his spirit roamed the heavens and earth. The divine sun rotated and multiplied endlessly. The cryptic chant was imprinted in Lin Chen's memory. This was actually a cultivation memory from the Taisher Holy Scripture. This is a secret that can heal other people's spiritual power. It's so mysterious that it can even heal injuries to one's spiritual source. Lin Chen sighed in amazement. It turned out that after his spiritual power reached the spirit transformation realm, he had reached the threshold of the Taisher Holy Scripture's new cultivation secret, which automatically removed the cultivation memory. The surprise was not over yet. When Lin Chen's spiritual power reached 800,000 points, another change occurred. Lin Chen's spiritual power and the purple golden eye formed a strange connection. Previously, the two powers should have each had their own duties, but now, because of Lin Chen's spiritual power's breakthrough, they were quietly connected. When I use my spiritual power to activate the purple golden eye, it can detect things 10 times more accurately. No, it's far more than that. Lin Chen's face immediately revealed a look of ecstasy. He first activated the 4th level of the Purple Lightning Birth Realm. When he looked into the distant void, the Purple Lightning Birth Realm was unable to see much. When he used his spiritual power to connect to the Purple Golden Eye, the originally empty void was filled with countless energy lines, as well as some mysterious threads of fate. The Purple Golden Eye was divided into 6 realms: Clear Vision, Fiery Eyes, Deep Gazing at Air, Purple Lightning Birth Realm, Creation from Nothingness, and Golden Eye's Twin. My Purple Golden I is the realm of creation from nothingness. Lin Shan was pleasantly surprised. No wonder no one in the Shangwan clan could cultivate to the 5th level. It turned out that the 5th level of creation from nothingness required one's spiritual power to reach the spirit transformation realm. Even many Heaven Star Border realm experts' spiritual power stopped at the spirit transformation realm, let alone the spirit transformation realm. It was hard to find someone like that in the entire desolate region. Using his spiritual power to activate the realm of creation from nothingness, Lin Shan spied on this new world to his heart's content. Chapter 180. Lin Shan realized that the creating something from nothing realm could not only see things that existed in the form of energy. Using this, he could even see some misfortune, killing, and bad luck in the world. Other than that, there were also world patterns that represented good luck and strange luck. This change made Lin Shan feel that it was heaven-defying. In this world, the most illusory thing was the path of fate. This purple gold pupils creating something from nothing realm could actually see the fate of the heavens. To be able to see these world patterns, one could be a step ahead of others. No matter if it was a fortuitous encounter or danger, it could be discovered in advance. This time's harvest can't be considered small. Lin Shan suppressed his ecstasy and sighed in his heart. When everyone took Yao Wuji's blood token, they realized that he had over 200,000 points. Class leader, I have already broken through all the illusions, but I don't know why the illusions here have not completely dissipated. At this time, Han Yiji waved her small hand and passed through the pink fog, appearing in front of everyone. Lin Shan smiled, but before he could speak, a trace of hidden killing intent flashed past. A purple gold light surrounded Lin Shan's pupils, causing his hair to stand on end. Lin Shan's purple gold pupil saw a trace of gray, killing intent in the air, enveloping everyone present. Don't move. Prepare for battle. The voice transmission, mixed with spiritual power, was transmitted into the ears of everyone in Class 66. It made everyone subconsciously enter a battle state. Lin Shan suddenly turned around and stared at the burnt forest. After a while, Lin Shan's lips curled into a cold smile. Worthy of being a rank 5 overlord-level vicious beast, its reputation is well-deserved. Illusion Demon Disc come out. Lin Shan's words made everyone's nerves tense up. As his voice fell, there was no movement in the forest, but there was no abnormality. But the atmosphere revealed a trace of strangeness. Everyone in Class 66 believed in Lin Shan unconditionally. Everyone stood in a circle, not daring to act rashly. The most confused person was Han Yiji. She couldn't feel anything with her spirit transformation realm spiritual force. So how could there be life here? Lin Shan's eyes were fixed on the burned forest, and his voice contained a rare trace of fear. Even I almost fell for your trick. If it weren't for my mental energy breaking through, my purple gold eyes advancing to the next level, and the killing intent you vaguely revealed when Yiji appeared, I'm afraid that all of us would have died here. As soon as he finished speaking, there was still silence and no movement could be heard. If you won't show yourself, then I'll force you to. With a stomp of his foot, his fire elemental battle aura erupted violently, burning the ground like magma, causing the ground to quake. Bang! Flames soared into the sky as more than a dozen blazing flame pillars exploded in succession. Finally, at the 20th blazing flame pillar, everyone heard a soul-tearing howl. Gee, human, how did you discover me? Where did you come from? And that little brat, he actually has a special constitution that I can't detect. Its giant wings flapped in the air, and every time they flapped, dust would fill the air. A pink fog, even more violent than before, suddenly enveloped the entire pink forest. It was a winged insect that was at least 70 feet in size. Its wings were bright pink, translucent and bright. Its head seemed to have grown huge teeth, and it had 4 bloodthirsty eyes. Its entire body was swollen and fat, and it had 12 flying legs. Compared to a butterfly, it looked more like a moth. "Iji, protect everyone!" Lin Shen suddenly shouted. This was a genuine, illusory dream demon disc. Just its mental energy realm alone had reached the spirit transformation realm. Han Iji released all of her mental energy, which turned into a glazed mental energy wall that sealed the entire class. Without another word, Lin Shen didn't dare to be careless this time. He jumped into the air and released the ancient azure dragon. The huge dragon's body instantly coiled around the entire class. The dragon's tail swept out, destroying everything around it. Lin Shen angrily smashed his fist into the ground. He circulated his metal attribute energy and transformed it into a special bloodline. The sharp and domineering metal battle chief followed the dragon's force in his fist and shook the ground. Like a giant python, the crack spread for dozens of miles. Most of the fog was dispelled, and the pink forest finally revealed its true form. This place was a swamp that was like a lake, and there were pools of blood everywhere. The stench of decay and corpses could be seen everywhere in the forest. There were piles of bones that emitted the smell of fresh blood. There were human bones and beast bones. So we were still in the mystic realm. Too terrifying. This is a mental energy vicious beast. Could it be that the illusory dream demon disc we just killed was a fake? Or were there two illusory dream demon discs? The entire class was stunned in place. The shocking truth in front of them had overturned their understanding. In fact, this result was also incomparably shocking to Lin Shen. When it came to illusory realms and illusory techniques, Lin Shen had a technique that was even more powerful than the purple gold eyes. That was the attribute light balls. When Lin Shen killed the illusory dream demon disc, it dropped a large amount of mental energy attribute light balls. They were all real, so he already believed that the illusory dream demon disc had died. Good heavens, this young master just walked on the edge of a knife. Lin Shen broke out in a cold sweat. If his purple gold eyes had not broken through this time, then perhaps his entire class 66, including himself, Lin Shen, would have been completely annihilated in the illusory dream demon disc's lair. GG, human, so what if you saw through my illusory realm? I already know all of you trump cards like the back of my hand. This time, even if you have the protection of an ancient azure dragon, you will still die. The illusory dream demon disc that was floating in the air twisted its swollen body as it sneered sharply. My false bodies, come out. The illusory dream demon disc let out a sharp shriek. In the forest that had just been burned, there was an ancient black tree that was several hundred feet tall. It began to constantly shake and tremble. Cocoons that were several hundred feet long began to drop down from the branches and quickly split open. There were as many as 30 illusory dream demon discs that split open from the cocoons and broke out. These 30 false bodies are the foundation that I have prepared for over 1,000 years. Human, using all of my false bodies to deal with you. This is your honor. The illusory dream demon disc laughed greedily. It could faintly feel that if it could eat Lin Shen and Han Iji, these two humans who were full of secrets, its cultivation realm would soar once more. For this opportunity, it did not hesitate to use 1,000 years of foundation to obtain these two people. Those hatched illusory dream demon discs were twice the size of the original illusory dream demon disc. But when the 30 illusory dream demon discs used the illusory dream demon disc together, the surrounding dust storm that carried a terrifying mental attack suddenly swept up. Chapter 181. Like a tidal wave, the mental attacks seeped into the void and attempted to infiltrate everyone's consciousness. Even Han Iji's spirit transformation realm mental strength was unable to protect everyone from the illusory realm demon dream, created by the 30 illusory realm demon discs. GG. Even the main body of the illusory realm demon disc joined the army of illusory realm demon dream. Mental attacks created ripples in the air. Even Lin Shun felt a wave of dizziness. On Han Yiji's side, blood began to seep out from the corner of her mouth. She was only holding on with one breath. Not good. If this continues, something will happen to everyone. I must quickly destroy this guy. Controlling the ancient azure dragon with his mind, the azure dragon flew out and bit several illusory realm demon discs. After tearing apart 3 illusory realm demon discs, the ancient azure dragon was about to charge forward and kill everyone when a thick illusory realm fog appeared. All of the illusory realm demon discs disappeared and hid in the fog. The dragon's tail swept, and the ancient azure dragon turned the surroundings upside down, but still could not attack a single illusory realm demon disc. This time it won't be so simple. GGG, human die. The illusory realm demon disc hidden in the fog sneered at Lin Shun and increased the frequency and density of its mental attacks. Han Yiji's small face was pale, and blood began to seep out from the corner of her mouth. Cracks began to appear on the crystal-colored mental barrier. So painful. Everyone in Class 66 had different degrees of mental injuries. Including Han Yiji, everyone fainted on the spot. Not good. Everyone's mental strength has been seriously injured. Lin Chen's expression changed slightly. His figure flashed, and he immediately arrived beside Han Yiji. He opened up a mental barrier to protect everyone. This was the first time Lin Chen had led Class 66, and he had caused everyone in the class to be seriously injured. When one's mental strength was injured, a light injury would affect one's potential. If it was serious, one's mind would be destroyed, and they would become imbeciles. This result caused Lin Chen's eyes to fill with monstrous killing intent. Calm down, this is not the way to go on. Lin Chen took a deep breath and withdrew his killing intent. At this moment, the crazier he was, the easier it was for him to make mistakes. GGG, let's see how long you can last. I will slowly suck your brain dry and let you experience an unprecedented pleasure. The illusion demon disc crazily laughed. In its eyes, Lin Shun and the others were already food on a plate. Lin Shun quickly calmed down. While protecting everyone with Han Yiji, he urged his spiritual energy to once again cast creating something out of nothing. Creating something out of nothing could not directly see through the opponent's hidden position, but it could capture the killing intent and misfortune released by the opponent. Under the probing of the purple-golden pupils, an obscure murderous intent was shuttling back and forth in the void. Found it. These pseudo-bodies are different from the previous one. They don't have much independent thought and are controlled by the main body. Only the main body has the intention to kill us. Lin Shen's heart trembled, but he discovered that the illusion demon disc was extremely cunning, hiding behind the 20 demon disc false bodies. In the illusionary fog, its speed of change is extremely fast. Even if my ancient azure dragon goes all out to kill it, under the suicidal cover of the 20 demon disc false bodies, it still has a chance of escaping. Completely calming down, Lin Shen's thoughts became incomparably clear. If it discovered that he had already detected the existence of its main body, the outcome of the battle was still unknown. There is only one chance. I cannot act rashly. I must kill it in one strike. Having made up his mind, Lin Shen's eyes instantly turned red. He roared somewhat crazily and hysterically. Why is it like this? I, Lin Shun, am a genius. Killing enemies above my level is not a problem. Could it be that I will die here? Impossible. Die for me, die for me. Roar, roar. The dragon's roar tore through the clouds. Just like Lin Shun, the ancient azure dragon's dragon body flipped. It began to crazily slap its dragon tail, spitting out dragon's breath, wildly destroying everything around it. Is he finally starting to be unable to hold on? GGG. In the end, he is still a young human. Although his talent is high, he can't keep his composure. Compared to those experienced human experts I encountered before, he is too inferior. GG, I really want to eat him quickly. The illusion demon disc's main body was hidden among the false bodies. Although it had the intention to move, it had not yet begun to act. It was very cautious. As a high-level spiritual-type dire beast that had lived for more than 1,000 years, its intelligence far exceeded that of dire beasts of the same level. The ancient azure dragon and Lin Chun became more and more crazed. After nearly 15 minutes of destruction, they finally began to run out of energy and fell to the ground. Lin Chun was like a candle in the wind, urging the last of his spiritual power to protect everyone as he muttered to himself in a delirious state. Illusion demon disc, you don't dare to come out? Ha ha, you can't come out, right? I won. I, Lin Chun, am the real winner. Lin Chun suddenly faced the sky and laughed wildly. The illusion demon disc saw that the ancient azure dragon's movements were not big, and a trace of disdain flashed through its heart. Stupid human, he's not even conscious anymore. It's time to eat you. The illusion demon disc circled around and slowly approached Lin Chun from behind. It was still very cautious. There were still 15 illusion demon disc bodies following it. I won. I am the real, peerless prodigy. Haha. Lin Chun's neck slightly twitched as he muttered some unclear words. 100 zhong, 80 zhong, 70 zhong. The illusion demon disc was getting closer and closer to Lin Chun. It was silent. When it and its dozen false bodies were less than 40 zhong away from Lin Chun suddenly turned around. A bright light flashed through his eyes. His mind was once again filled with an incomparably strong fighting spirit. He did not want to be a person who had fallen into madness. The moment it saw Lin Chun turn around, the illusion demon disc was instantly shocked. This human isn't crazy? Boom! The purple phoenix wings suddenly expanded and Lin Chun's speed reached the limit. After absorbing the blazing devil snare, the purple phoenix wing speed was more than twice as fast as before. False bodies block him. The illusion demon disc quickly retreated. All of the illusion demon disc's false bodies blocked in front of it. However, Lin Chun was not coming for it. Instead, he was leading everyone from Class 66 to retreat a large distance behind it. Before it had time to be puzzled, the illusion demon disc saw the ancient azure dragon raise its dragon claw. A violent and fiendish azure dragon breath curled around the dragon claw, displaying the rise and fall of the dragon race's civilization. Azure dragon, soul, rending claw. Lin Chun and the ancient azure dragon let out a low roar at almost the same time. The dragon claw angrily swung down, and the dancing dragon breath blades were like waves, destroying everything in their path. No matter how fast the illusion demon disc was, no matter how many false bodies there were, at such a close distance, it did not have a chance to escape the ancient azure dragon's azure dragon soul, rending claw. How is this possible? This human. The illusion demon disc did not even have time to scream before it was cut into countless pieces by the overflowing light blades. Chapter 182. The fake bodies of the demon disc were as weak as paper, instantly turning into ashes. With the main body dead, the fake bodies of the demon disc that were not attacked also died. Boom! Nearly half of the entire pink forest was destroyed by Lin Chun's azure dragon soul, rending claw. Its power was enough to push through the earth veins and mountains. The sound was so loud that it could be heard clearly from 5,000 miles away. Many participants were alarmed, and some curious people couldn't help but rush over. The pink fog began to gradually recede, and in a few breaths, it completely disappeared. This time, the illusory demon disc had truly died in Lin Chun's hands. Lin Chun didn't care about the attribute balls of light that the illusory demon disc dropped after its main body died, or the purple gold treasure chest floating in the air. He took out 3 Longan-sized pills that were surrounded by golden light from his spirit storage ring. These were spiritual-type recovery pills that Lin Chun had refined using large amounts of high-grade herbs from the Academy's mystic realm. Rank 5 Beginner Pill, Soul Cleansing Golden Origin Pill. With everyone's spiritual realm, Only Han Iji could withstand the effects of this pill, so Lin Shan couldn't directly feed the entire pill to everyone. He crushed the soul-cleansing golden origin pill in his palm, and a ball of pure spiritual light floated up. Lin Shan released his own spiritual energy to disperse this ball of spiritual light and send it into everyone's spiritual altars and consciousness. No, the soul-cleansing golden origin pill can heal their spiritual injuries, but it can't make up for the loss of their spiritual origin. Even if they can wake up, everyone might lose a portion of their memories. Lin Shan narrowed his eyes. If he couldn't find a way to recover everyone's spiritual origin in a short period of time, other than Han Iji, everyone's spiritual origin would be permanently damaged. Right now, where can I find a way to recover one's spiritual origin? No, that's not right. I have a way to recover one's spiritual origin. Lin Shan slapped his thigh, and a flash of understanding appeared in his heart. Lin Shan sat cross-legged next to the unconscious Yulinlin. His hands formed a seal, and he chanted a cryptic chant. When Taishir was born, his spirit roamed the heavens and earth. The divine sun rotated, growing and multiplying without end. Within Lin Shan's sea of consciousness, a wisp of pure white soul origin slowly flowed into Yulinlin's sea of consciousness through the hand seals. Yulinlin's brows trembled slightly. She was showing signs of recovery. It's indeed useful. The Taishir Holy Scriptures are truly marvelous. Lin Shan was preparing to heal the second person when suddenly a wave of exhaustion came from his sea of consciousness. The host's spiritual power has decreased by 20,000 points due to the use of a special technique. If you continue to use it, your spiritual power will decrease by 50,000 points. Please use with caution. Just as Lin Shan was puzzled, the system screen popped up. For the first time, Lin Shan's attributes showed signs of decreasing. Motherf asterisk her. This will reduce my mental strength attribute. I'm in a hurry to save them. And you're playing this trick on me again? Lin Shan was flustered and exasperated. Just as he was about to count how many pills or herbs he had that could increase his mental strength, he suddenly slapped his forehead. The more I panic, the more stupid I become. Isn't this just a ready-made mental strength attribute? Lin Shan turned around and looked at the attribute light balls all over the ground. These attribute light balls were all left behind by the demon illusion disc. They were all mental strength attribute light balls. Because they were not as complete as the first one Lin Shan had killed, the remaining attribute light balls dropped by the demon illusion disc were minuscule. Regardless of the consequences, Lin Shan took them all. His mental strength attribute value crazily rose and fell at the same time. Just as Lin Shan was busy collecting the attribute light balls and healing the people of Class 66, a series of figures appeared in the vicinity of the pink forest, coming from all directions. Isn't this the demon illusion disc's nest? Oh my god, how did it end up like this? It's the people from the Desolate Region branch. Look, there's also that Lin Shan. Even the demon illusion disc was destroyed. Are these guys monsters? That's a rare rank 5, Overlord spiritual type, vicious beast. He actually has an ancient azure dragon by his side. Isn't that against the rules? There's no need to doubt the decision of the main court's examiners. No wonder the people from the Heaven Region branch and Nether Region branch either died or were injured when they encountered the Desolate Region branch. This Lin Shan is really a ruthless character. If this person enters the main court, he'll probably be an influential figure. I didn't expect that we would meet such a monster in the same batch. I don't know if this is good luck or bad luck. Let's hurry up and leave. Who knows if his killing intent will explode and he'll kill us too. Some of the Supermonastery's prodigies passing by were secretly shocked. Almost all of the rank 5 Overlord level vicious beasts on this whale island had the potential to grow into mid-rank 5 vicious beasts comparable to Heaven Dipper Stage 5. Even the examiners were very surprised. They hadn't been on the island for many years, so they didn't expect the demon illusion disc to transform to such a terrifying extent. In terms of results, Lin Shun could be said to have eradicated a destructive disaster for this exam. If the Demon Illusion Disc had released all of the Demon Illusion Disc's false bodies from the start, then no one would have survived. As expected of a rare, spiritual type vicious beast, it actually evolved into so many strange things. Speaking of which, we still owe this kid a favor. Ha! Amazing, amazing. This exam can be considered to have ended satisfactorily. Some of the examiners and the hemp-robed old man couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Lin Shin's results in this exam were enough to rank him among the top in the history of the main court's exam. But if combined with his age, he was the first person in the history of the Heavenly Song Academy to be so outstanding before the age of 18. In the Pink Forest, Lin Shun was sweating profusely and almost collapsed on the ground in exhaustion. This time, when he got rid of the Demon Illusion Disc's true body, he obtained a spiritual power attribute light ball that surpassed Lin Shin's previous total attribute points, reaching as many as 900,000 points. But in order to heal the damaged spirit source, Lin Shun continuously expended his spiritual power. In the end, his spiritual power attribute stopped at 860,000 points. Compared to the original, it was only 60,000 points more. After this blow, I will help them recover their spirit source. After breaking, they will stand up again. Their spiritual realm will rise to another level. Lin Shun fell to the ground. The battle of the illusory Dream Demon Disc this time was not only a breakthrough for him, everyone's mental state would also rise. Unable to suppress his mental exhaustion, Lin Shun fell asleep on the ground. Only the ancient Azure Dragon was still by his side, quietly protecting everyone. Lin Shun's sleep lasted for 2 days and 2 nights. In 2 days and 2 nights, everyone in Class 66 woke up one after another. When everyone checked their spiritual power, almost everyone's spiritual power had at least broken through a small realm. When they saw the situation around them and Lin Shun, who was sleeping on the ground, they immediately knew what had happened. Everyone had a tacit understanding and didn't make much noise. They quietly guarded Lin Chen's side. Chapter 183. On the morning of the last day, Lin Chen woke up and found that everyone in the class had been waiting for him for a long time. Class rep is awake. Big bro, my spiritual power has broken through. Thank you, class rep, for saving us again. Everyone surrounded Lin Chen, either surprised or excited. Lin Chen enjoyed this feeling very much. In his eyes, everyone in Class 66 was like a big family. Everyone quiet down first. Lin Chen stood up and raised his hand with a smile. Everyone immediately quieted down. Everyone, this operation was my miscalculation, causing everyone to suffer such serious mental trauma. From now on, I will be temporarily separated from everyone. Lin Chen's words made everyone look at him in confusion. After the battle with the illusory Dream Demon Disc, Lin Chen had a new understanding. Fighting with these special class 5 dire beasts was like walking on the edge of a knife. One careless mistake, and they could lose their lives. He originally thought that his ancient Azure Dragon would be enough to protect everyone, but now it seemed that he might not even be able to protect himself. Fighting against the Class 5 Lord-class dire beasts on Whale Island was still too much for the current Class 66. Lin Chen could not treat everyone's lives as a joke. After telling everyone what he was thinking, everyone in Class 66 smiled in relief. Big bro, this is not your problem at all. It's true that we are still too weak. It's still too early to join a battle of this level. Bai Ju and Hao was the first to smile. They were only a few years old, but they could already encircle and kill Class 5 dire beasts. This was already a big deal in the Waste region. I agree with Ju and Hao. Big bro, you don't have to blame yourself. You can do whatever you want from now on. We will follow your footsteps closely. Gu Qinfeng nodded in agreement. After Lin Shan returned from the Evil King's secret realm, their strength had been improving by leaps and bounds. Now was indeed not the time to rush things. Since everyone understands, I'm relieved. Remember, be careful from now on. We'll meet again in 6 days. Lin Shan raised his hand, and everyone punched him. Let's continue hunting class 5 dire beasts, huh? Ying Liang and Bai Juanhao laughed heartily. The girls of class 66 waved goodbye to Lin Shan reluctantly. After parting with everyone, Lin Shan's eyes flashed with sharpness. Before I enter the headquarters, I need to become stronger. After the battle with Yao Wuji and Luo Wangquan, Lin Shan clearly understood how high the value of a student from the main campus was. If he wanted to gain a foothold in the main academy of the Heavenly Song Academy, the highest academy in the entire spiritual state, his current strength was not enough. Just as Lin Shan was about to leave the pink forest, he suddenly discovered a purple gold treasure chest floating in the air. This was the first time Lin Shan had seen such a dazzling radiance from his purple gold treasure chest. This treasure chest was left behind when he killed the illusionary demon disc. Because Lin Shan was racing against time to heal everyone's mental injuries, he didn't have the time to take away this purple gold treasure chest. A treasure chest dropped by Class 5 Overlord Dire Beast. I wonder what kind of treasure it will contain. Lin Shan curiously grabbed the purple gold treasure chest. With a dazzling purple gold radiance, the treasure chest opened, and the system screen popped up. Host has opened the purple gold treasure chest. You have obtained a mental-type treasure, illusionary demon disc. A piece of silk shining with a faint frosty radiance came out of the treasure chest and appeared in front of Lin Shan. Lin Shan activated his purple gold eyes. This illusionary demon disc didn't seem to have anything special other than the fact that it contained a surge of mental-type energy. Even the mental-type energy hidden within was dispensable to Lin Shan. Is this all that's left of the illusionary demon disc? Forget it. Let's leave this place first. Lin Shan withdrew his gaze and leaped into the air. He spread his true flame purple phoenix wings and flew to the other side of the Whale Island. 30,000 miles south of the Whale Island. Dark clouds covered this place and mountains stood tall. Lightning flashed and thunder roared, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. The 2 prodigies from the headquarters stood rooted to the ground, dumbstruck. Between the 2 mountains in the center of the lightning, the 1,000 feet long stage 5 Overlord Ferocious Beast, the green lightning thunder tiger, was lying in a pool of blood. It died with its eyes wide open. An ancient azure dragon and a silver-robed young man, bathed in lightning, were entrenched on its corpse. Host has obtained 600,000 lightning-type energy points, 300,000 lightning-type energy points, 400,000 lightning-type energy points. Lin Shan picked up large amounts of blood essence energy and lightning-type energy balls. His and the ancient azure dragon's pure strength soared rapidly. Before leaving, Lin Shan and the ancient azure dragon were bathed in blood, and their killing intent was piercingly cold. The 2 prodigies from headquarters didn't even dare to look at him. After Lin Shan left, the 2 of them couldn't help but sigh. The new student nowadays are too fierce. It hasn't even been half an hour, and the green lightning thunder tiger has been killed. Their strength is almost on par with some of the older students in our headquarters, right? The 13th day of the assessment. Whale Island, Hurricane Abyss. Roar, roar, roar. Earth-shaking dragon roars rang out continuously along with the violent winds. Streaks of green dragon aura radiated from the abyss. Then, a vast hurricane that could overturn heaven and earth rose from the abyss. The abyss was filled with violent wind blades, twisting the dragon's scales and causing dragon blood to splatter everywhere. In the end, colorful battle aura flashed continuously from the abyss. Only then did the raging hurricane slowly stabilize. After a while, the ancient azure dragon flew out from the abyss with injuries all over its body. However, its pure strength was even more tyrannical. The 15th day of the assessment. All candidates on the island, attention. The assessment time is up. All candidates, please return to the South Bank. From now on, candidates are not allowed to engage in any more battles. Those who violate the rules will lose their quota. At this time, an earth-shattering voice transmission reverberated throughout the entire Whale Island. Everyone heard it clearly, and they all flew in the same direction. The Whale Island was extremely large. After the assessment ended, the examiners would give the candidates 2 days to return to the location of the assessment. On the way back, in a branch campus from the 24 domains, 4 students were displaying their movement techniques one after another. All of them had excited expressions on their faces. With their strength, they were in the middle to lower reaches of the 24 domains. However, this time, they actually picked up a 5th grade savage beast that had fought with other teams and successfully passed the assessment. Looks like our luck is as good as a rainbow. We actually managed to enter the headquarters this time. Ha! Let's see who dares to look down on our branch campus after entering the headquarters this time. Just as the 4 of them were feeling smug, an earth-shattering explosion resounded through the sky. Bang! The 4 prodigies from the branch campus were shocked. They immediately appeared on top of a towering ancient tree and looked around vigilantly. However, when they raised their heads, they suddenly realized that they were surrounded by other prodigies from the branch campus. At this time, all of them were staring at the 3 figures in the sky with their mouths wide open. The several hundred feet long azure dragon and an ancient beast, the extinction blade dark eagle, were fighting in the sky. The dragon roared and the eagle howled. The eagle's claws and the dragon's claws were bursting with shocking strength. A monstrous tide of dark aura collided with the azure dragon's light, creating a shockwave that spanned across the sky. Boom! A tall mountain was instantly crushed into powder by the shockwave of the collision between the 2 behemoths. The power of the battle could be said to be earth-shattering. The most shocking thing was the tiny silver-robed young man with the purple flame wings. He held a black spear in his hand, and his entire body was emitting colorful battle aura. He actually cooperated with the azure dragon to attack the extinction blade dark eagle several times, and each time he was surrounded by danger. Chapter 184. As night fell, ripples appeared on the horizon, and 12 figures gradually appeared in the void. Among the group of figures walking in the air, there were both young and old, men and women. All of them were masters at the Heavenly Dipper realm, and they all wore badges of the Heavenly Song Academy on their chests. They were all elders and teachers from the Heavenly Song Academy. Among them, the blonde old man who had arrived at the Desolate Realm branch was also in the group. When they arrived at the high altitude of the giant Whale Island, a beautiful woman in red in the group couldn't help but complain. It's so troublesome to enroll new students every year. The test content and venues are always changing. It's so tiring. This is to ensure the overall quality of the enrollment. Sister Ling, don't complain. This is our job. You didn't complain when you were enjoying the cultivation mystical realm that the main academy gave you. Ha ha! 2 sage-like yellow-robed old men shook their heads and laughed. Hee. I wonder how the new students of the 24 domains will fare. The branches are located in the 24 domains of the spiritual state, and they are all barbarians. Even if they pass the test, they will only serve as background in the main academy, where there are so many geniuses. That's why I asked my disciple, Yao Wuji, to participate in this test to eliminate those useless people from the main academy. A brawny man with fiery red eyebrows curled his lips in disdain, and his eyes were full of arrogance. Don't be so sure. I have my eyes on a dark horse this year. Ha ha ha. He is from the Desolate Realm branch, which is ranked at the bottom. The blonde old man stroked his beard and laughed, looking casual and reserved. Forget it. Olding, the people you had your eyes on before were either suppressed because they were too arrogant or expelled because they broke the rules because of their bad temper. The 24 domains are just ordinary people. They can't be compared with the geniuses from the spiritual state. In my opinion, this stupid rule should have been abolished long ago. Just as the 12 elders and teachers of the main academy were about to go to the 5 examiners, a young man's cold yell sounded in the sky. Die! The sudden eruption of battle attracted everyone's attention. Thousands of feet above the ground, Lin Shin spread out his purple phoenix wings and appeared right above Ying's head. His entire body was bathed in thunder and lightning. Streaks of fire burned inside his body, making him look like a god that had descended to the mortal world. This examinee? All the teachers and elders instantly focused their attention on Lin Shun. In the next moment, Lin Shun raised his abyssal spear and smashed it into Extinction Blade Dark Eagle's head. This spear strike was so powerful that it instantly broke the consciousness of the extinct Blade and Ying. Lin Shin flapped his purple phoenix wings and appeared right in front of Extinction Blade Dark Eagle's head. The lightning element battle chi around his body turned into a lightning dragon. Thunder explosion. The dark abyss turned into a bolt of lightning and swept across the sky. Lin Shin suddenly threw it out and pierced through the head of the extinct Blade Dark Eagle. Boom, boom, boom. The mountain-like Extinction Blade Dark Eagle fell from the sky, and the dark shadows in the sky disappeared along with the fall of the Extinction Blade Dark Eagle. Lin Shun was covered in blood and sweat. However, his bright eyes seemed to hide the sea of stars and were filled with arrogance and fighting spirit. The domineering and murderous aura between his brows did not diminish at all. He and the ancient azure dragon stood side by side in the sky. The purple phoenix wings flapped slowly, and the aura of the battle alone was enough to intimidate everyone. No one dared to move. All the prodigies who were going back and forth to take the verification test were stunned in place. Some of them were even secretly ashamed of themselves for picking up a Class 5 dire beast. Lin Shun and the ancient azure dragon descended slowly and silently took away all the elemental light balls and the vicious beast cores of the extinct Blade Dark Eagle. After Lin Shun left, everyone at the scene heaved a sigh of relief as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. So this is the strength of Lin Shun, the strongest freshman in the assessment. That's too scary. Luckily, we didn't meet him during the assessment. Everyone swallowed their saliva and mumbled to themselves with trembling mouths. Those geniuses who exchanged glances with Lin Shun found themselves drenched in cold sweat. So strong. Who is that candidate? Which academy is he from? Could he be a new genius from a Sky Domain Academy? Did you guys see that? He just absorbed the ancient azure dragon into his dantian. This brat's body is actually rearing an ancient azure dragon? In all my years, I've never seen any Heaven's Pride with such a strange technique. And his cultivation technique, it's amazing. It can actually temporarily transform battle chi into a special bloodline energy and achieve the effect of activating the bloodline of those with special bloodlines. His spiritual power also has a hint of the spirit transformation realm. His spiritual power is so strong. Is he also an alchemist? Damn it, we've picked up a treasure this time. During the battle, just now, the pure strength he unleashed was equivalent to 6 Dragon Force points. Just based on pure strength alone, he can match some of those who have just entered the second stage of the Heaven Dipper realm. The 12 teachers and elders were completely shocked. They all started to talk as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The 12 of them were teachers and elders from different fields in the academy. Each of them specialized in a certain field. The Sky Song Academy had sent out such a lineup in order to not let go of any potential freshmen. However, when they saw Lin Shun just now, all the teachers and elders were stunned. None of the elders could find fault with him. He was outstanding and heaven-defying in any field. What was a genius? This was a genius. This was a heaven-shaking talent that could overturn the martial Tao. Their Sky Song Academy was a place where such geniuses gathered. Quick, let's go to the assessment area. We need to ask the examiners about this candidate. The teachers and elders couldn't wait to use their battle chi and sneak into the void to leave. The next day, on the south coast of Whale Island, other than the 5 examiners and the hemp-robed old man, there were also the upper echelons of the academy who were waiting for the results as well as the 12 new elders and teachers from the academy. At this time, many candidates had already handed in their blood tokens and passed the assessment in batches. The most surprising thing was still the entire Class 66. After parting with Lin Shun, Class 66 defeated another Class 5 dire beast. The total points of the entire class exceeded 60,000. Even the 12 members of the assessment team were surprised and astonished by this result. This was higher than all of the freshmen present, including the seniors who participated in this assessment. Only one of them had 120,000 points. The most miserable ones were the Nether Realm and Sky Realm branches. These two were the first and second place respectively, but in the end, only 4 and 6 people passed the assessment. When they ambushed Class 66, both classes suffered heavy losses. They were also involved in the aftermath of the battle between Class 66 and 2 Class 5 dire beasts. They had used many of their trump cards. Even after they recovered from their injuries, they didn't have enough time to kill many Class 5 dire beasts. They could only end up with each other collecting points. At noon, except for one person, all the candidates had verified the results of the assessment. Most of the people present, including the examiners, were secretly looking forward to it. This was because the biggest dark horse in this assessment had yet to appear. Lin Shun had single-handedly wiped out 5 Lord Class 5 dire beasts. Chapter 185. Everyone waited until the afternoon. A silhouette in a silver robe streaked across the sky from a height of several thousand feet and landed steadily on the shore. Lin Shun looked up and saw the examiners and the dozen or so new Heaven Star Border Realm cultivators. He didn't seem surprised at all as he walked toward them with a smile. Where's my disciple, Yao Wuji? All of a sudden, the red-haired teacher with the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear suddenly questioned the examiners. He thought his disciple wanted to earn more points and continued to hunt level 5 dire beasts on Whale Island. But when he felt something was wrong, he released his battle chi to check for a long time and realized that his proud disciple wasn't on Whale Island. Yao Wuji? He's dead. Lin Shun didn't change his expression and smiled. What? How did my disciple die? He's a half-step Heaven Star Border Realm cultivator. The red-haired man was furious. A ball of domineering red flame burned from the top of his head. The space within 1,000 feet was burned and distorted violently. There was a faint crack in the space. I killed him. Lin Shun smiled casually as if he didn't care at all. Brat, you're courting death. The red-haired man attacked furiously and grabbed at Lin Shun. The fire elemental battle chi in his 5 fingers extinguished the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and turned the mountains and rivers into ashes. It was as if thousands of fire dragons were erupting from a volcano, plunging the land into infinite chaos and destruction. Seeing this scene, all the participants turned pale with fright. This was the power of a powerhouse from the headquarters. He could destroy heaven and earth with a single attack. Lin Shun didn't change his expression. Many people's eyelids twitched. If it were them, they would be scared out of their wits. Long Qi, how dare you behave so atrociously in front of me? A cold and indifferent voice rang out, and the space shattered like a mirror in an instant. The fire dragons were annihilated into nothingness. All of Ling's fire elemental battle chi disintegrated in an instant like a clay ox entering the sea. It disappeared without a trace. The gray-robed old man who was gnawing on a chicken drumstick stood beside Lin Shun and sneered at the red-haired man. Elder Yuan, there must be an explanation for this. My disciple has reached the half-step Heaven Gang realm in less than a year. You have seen how high his talent is. What's more, there is no rule of killing a student of the headquarters in this freshman assessment. The red-haired brawny man gritted his teeth. He didn't dare to act rashly in front of the gray-robed old man, but he was also extremely unwilling to give up. I don't need your King bullshit explanation. Since when is it your turn to decide whether or not this brat broke the rules? Who would have thought that the gray-robed old man, Elder Yuan, would directly open his mouth and scold him, not giving him any face at all. That brat Yao Wuji was courting death. So many of us examiners saw with our own eyes that he took the initiative to find trouble with that brat Lin Shun. That brat even gave him a chance. Could it be that only your disciple can cripple others, and others can't kill him? According to this, there's nothing wrong with this old man killing you now, right? At the end of his words, a sharp killing intent flashed through Elder Yuan's eyes. He didn't seem to be joking at all. You, the red-haired brawny man choked and didn't dare to say anything else. He flicked his sleeves angrily and flew into the air, leaving Whale Island directly. Seeing how Elder Yuan was so protective of Lin Chun, many examinees were filled with envy. Thank you, Elder Yuan, for upholding justice. Lin Chun smiled and cupped his fists. Upholding justice? Ha! You clearly didn't want to dodge just now and force this old man to make a move. You stinking brat, you're an old fox. Elder Yuan stroked his chin and laughed strangely. You brat, you have a pretty good ocular technique. He had wanted to borrow Long Chi's hand to see if this brat would release the ancient Azure Dragon to block the attack. He didn't expect that this brat didn't have any intention of retaliating and forced him to block the attack. This kind of person didn't make a move, but once he did, it would be shocking. After entering the headquarters, he would be a ruthless character. No, this ocular technique is just a small trick. How could it catch Elder Yuan's eye? I still have a bunch of treasures here. For example, this 36 Imperial Women's Fist, the night I ate steam buns with my sister, and this standalone King's Secrets to Becoming Handsome. Good stuff. Let me see the third one. Seeing these two birds of feather, some teachers and elders couldn't help but facepalm. Elder Yuan's old habit was acting up again. Old man, the assessment is still ongoing. The two examiners couldn't stand it anymore and said helplessly. Only then did Elder Yuan come back to his senses. Oh, right, there's still the assessment. Brat, show me your blood token. Lin Shun handed his blood token to Elder Yuan. Everyone couldn't help but look at him curiously. With a flash of blood, Lin Shun's blood token showed his assessment points. The first number displayed on the blood token was 1. After counting, it was actually 1280,000 points. 1280,000 points. A Class 5 Dire Beast was worth 100,000 points, and an Overlord Class Dire Beast was worth 200,000 points. Didn't this mean that this brat had killed more than 12 or all of the Overlord Class Dire Beasts? The 5 examiners weren't too surprised by this result, but the assessment team that had just arrived was completely different. Good boy, killing more than 12 Class 5 Dire Beasts or 5 Overlord Class Dire Beasts with potential isn't something shocking in the headquarters. But to do it in 15 days of assessment, it's a completely different concept. The blonde old man stroked his beard and exclaimed, to kill so many Class 5 Dire Beasts in 15 days, he would definitely be an outstanding existence in the headquarters. When he first arrived at the Wasteland Branch, he only thought that Lin Shun had the potential to be the top freshman, but he didn't expect him to improve by leaps and bounds in just 4 months. Ha, good. This old man didn't think highly of you in vain. Candidate Lin Shun, congratulations on passing the assessment. From today onwards, you're a student of the Tian headquarters. Elder Yuan laughed heartily and tapped Lin Shun's blood token with his fingertip. The number and name on it turned into a green light. When it turned into a green light, Lin Shun's blood token instantly turned into a ray of light and engraved on Lin Shun's chest, turning into a shiny green metal. Big Brother's medal is different from ours? Bai Juanhao asked curiously. The blonde old man immediately explained with a smile. In the Tianga headquarters, there are 5 grades of students: yellow merit, green merit, blue merit, and purple merit. A teacher continued the blonde old man's words with a smile. Yellow merit is 10,000 points, green merit is 500,000 points, green merit is 1 million points, blue merit is 10 million points, and purple merit is 30 million points. Within 2 years, if a new student can't accumulate enough points to reach the green merit level from carrying out missions, they will be directly expelled. You can also use the points transferred by other students, but it won't be counted into your passing score for the time being. Only after reaching the green rank will the transactions between students be counted. As soon as this was said, all the candidates present sucked in a breath of cold air. Class 66 was still all right. Other than looking a little solemn, they didn't lose their composure. However, the faces of the people from the other branches who passed the assessment completely changed. Obtaining 500,000 points in 2 years? Wouldn't this mean that they had to hunt 50 class 5 dire beasts in 2 years? To them who were still in the earth realm, this was harder than ascending to heaven. Chapter 186. Little guys, don't be so surprised. These 500,000 points are not that simple. You can get 10,000 points because of the exam rules. In the main academy, the materials and cores of a level 5 dire beast can only be exchanged for 2,000 to 6,000 points. You have to work hard, rack your brains, and cultivate for 2 years in a race against time to earn points. Only then will you have a chance to stay in the cruel main academy. A beautiful female teacher covered her mouth and chuckled. The blond old man said seriously, "Yes, our Heavenly Song Academy doesn't accept mediocre people and useless people. You don't think that a little talent is enough to enter the academy. You also need to have the fighting spirit to reach the peak in the cruel martial arts world and break through the limits of life and death." Another handsome young teacher shook his head and sighed. "I don't know how many freshmen die in the process of earning points every year. Some just stay in a main academy for 2 years and leave in a hurry. There are new talents in every generation, and the Emperor has been at the top for hundreds of years." Many of the candidates' faces became more and more unsightly. At this time, a gentle female teacher in a snow-white dress was slightly annoyed. "Each and every one of you, look at how scared the freshmen are. Don't be too depressed. Although the Heavenly Song Academy has the strictest survival rules in the spiritual state, it also has one of the best cultivation resources and environment. As long as you earn points and cultivate, you still have a chance to stay." Elder Yuan wiped his mouth and laughed after eating the drumstick. "Ha ha! All in all, you little guys are about to come into contact with a brand new world. There are endless difficulties and opportunities waiting for you." Even Lin Shun was a little excited. His yearning for the Heavenly Song Academy was getting stronger and stronger. "Okay, the exam is over. Those who didn't pass the exam can wait on the island. The people from your branch will come back to pick you up. The rest, follow us." Elder Yuan suddenly waved his hand, and a gentle battle aura lifted everyone up. In the blink of an eye, everyone was already in the sky, flying at high speed. All of them were standing on the back of an indistinguishable battle chi beast and flying at a very high speed. "Little guy, your spirit energy is very special. Do you want to come to our spirit element?" Young man, your technique is very suitable for me to cultivate with. Do you want to come under my wing and try to become a registered disciple?" Before anyone could react, the teachers and elders of the assessment team were fighting to be the first to send out invitations to Lin Shun. Lin Shun was dumbfounded. Since when was he handsome enough to kill men and women of all ages? This was too passionate. Hee, little fellow. There was a rule in the Heavenly Song Academy. The more students a teacher or an elder had, the more privileges and treatment they could enjoy. If you accept their invitation, there will be many benefits in the future. At this time, Elder Yuan's secret voice transmission answered Lin Chen's doubts. He was suddenly enlightened. This kind of rule would most likely cause everyone in Heavenly Song Academy to be in a state of desperation. In the headquarters, almost everyone would unleash their potential and energy to the fullest. Even the teachers were no exception. Teachers and elders, thank you very much for your invitation. I intend to observe the situation after entering the headquarters. Lin Shin cupped his fists in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. He had already made up his mind. Everyone in the assessment team felt that it was a pity and turned to throw an olive branch to the other freshmen. Little fellow, you are quite clever. This old man will give you another hint. After entering the headquarters, try to use your points on cultivation as much as possible. Don't spend them on impractical uses. Otherwise, you will waste a lot of time. Elder Yuan's rare love for talent was overflowing as he explained to Lin Shun. Thank you for your guidance, Elder Yuan. I will remember it in my heart. Seeing that everyone in Class 66 was enthusiastically chatting with the teachers, Lin Shun simply didn't disturb them and sat down cross-legged. His storage ring flickered, and 2 light red pills surrounded by dragon energy appeared in Lin Shun's palm. Big Dipper Black Dragon Pill. This was a top-grade pill that Lin Shun obtained from robbing many veteran Heavenly Dipper Realm cultivators from the shrine in the Evil King's secret realm. Subsequently, Lin Shun gathered the main high-grade materials obtained from the secret realm to refine it. Its grade was at the mid-grade of the 5th rank. During the refining process, Lin Shun also failed twice and wasted a lot of materials. Finally, there were only 2 pills left. Out of the 4 sets of herbs, he only succeeded twice. The ancient Azure Dragon will share a portion of the energy I absorb, but the Big Dipper Black Dragon pill has enough energy. 2 pills should be enough to ensure that I break through to the Heavenly Dipper realm. Lin Shun swallowed the 2 Big Dipper Black Dragon pills and chewed them into his stomach. 2 mysterious dragon-like energies spread out from Lin Shun's body, as if he was enlightened. Boom, boom, boom. An earthquake-like tremor came from Lin Shun's body. Elder Yuan immediately waved his hand and set up a battle chi barrier. His eyes were filled with surprise and doubt. What is the structure of this brat's body? Not only can he hide an ancient Azure Dragon, but he can also directly consume such terrifying energy. Could it be that he wants to break through to the Heavenly Dipper realm? Interesting. Dual Dragon Dance. The 2 energies merged into Lin Shun's Dantian. His 9-colored battle spirit absorbed half of it, and the ancient Azure Dragon absorbed the other half. Even though the Big Dipper Black Dragon pill's energy was vast, Lin Shun's absorption speed was like a bottomless pit. It was like a river flowing into the sea. It was all absorbed into his body. Bang! A 9-colored energy vortex rotated above Lin Shun's head. It was 10 feet wide and contained the complete attributes of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and dark. This movement attracted everyone's attention. The teachers and elders could feel Lin Shun's rising battle chi fluctuations, and their expressions couldn't help but change. This brat is going to break through to the Heavenly Dipper realm. Everyone looked at each other. Since ancient times, there were no more than 5 people who were able to step into the Heavenly Dipper realm before entering the main compound. Time passed minute by minute. Lin Shun's battle chi was like a river changing into the sea, and the stars changing into the sun and moon. As the tide rose, it far surpassed his previous self. After an unknown period of time, Lin Shun suddenly opened his eyes. A battle chi fluctuation suddenly erupted with him as the center. Boom! The battle chi fluctuation shattered the battle chi barrier that Elder Yuan had casually created, shaking everyone. The current Lin Shun's battle chi cultivation was several times stronger than before. It was not inferior to the Heavenly Dipper realm at all. But the strange thing was that he did not break through to the Heavenly Dipper realm. What was this situation? The Heavenly Dipper realm could integrate one's battle chi into heaven and earth. The elders present did not feel that Lin Shun had such a change. His battle chi had simply become stronger. That's not right. There's no such cultivation method. After the battle chi reaches saturation, it's either that there's no progress, or it's connected to the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and officially stepped into the Heavenly Dipper realm or half-step into the Heavenly Dipper realm. His battle chi is still gradually becoming stronger. There's no sign of it merging with heaven and earth. Strange. This old man has lived for thousands of years, but this is the first time I've seen such a situation. All the elders and teachers looked at each other. They were all stunned on the spot. Not half-step into the heavenly dipper realm. Not heavenly dipper realm? What kind of operation was this? Chapter 187. It's a mental cultivation technique. Suddenly, Elder Yuan was the first to speak. His usual lazy and leisurely expression was replaced with an unprecedented solemnity. The stronger the foundation, the higher the upper limit. His mental cultivation technique is as powerful as the sun and moon in the sky, hiding the universe within. It contains 9 elements and has the power to destroy the world and create the world. Could be a blue tier mental cultivation technique, intermediate or advanced blue tier. The sweet-tempered female teacher number 114 asked in surprise. No, although blue tier mental cultivation techniques are rare, it's not like our academy doesn't have any. However, no one has ever shown such a strange phenomenon. Elder Yuan shook his head in denial, giving rise to a terrifying thought in the minds of all the elders. Even advanced blue-tier mental cultivation technique doesn't have such power. Then, what is the level of this kid's mental cultivation technique? Is it the top blue tier, or is it even higher? No one dared to make wild guesses, but they all had the same shocking thought in their minds. No one is allowed to spread what happened today. Otherwise, I'll kill him myself. Suddenly, Elder Yuan's eyes turned extremely sharp as he looked around at everyone present. The candidates nodded like chicks pecking at rice. They were as weak as ants in front of Elder Yuan. He could crush them with just a finger. Enough, Elder Yuan. Put away your murderous aura. It's time for you to change your bad temper. The 2 examiners said helplessly. All the teachers and elders knew that the forces in the spiritual state were all mixed up with the good and the bad. Even though the Heavenly Song Academy's reputation had shaken the world, if news of what had happened today were spread, it would still bring a fatal disaster upon Lin Shun. At this moment, not only were Elder Yuan and the others shocked, Lin Shun was also shocked. System, what's wrong with me? Did I not break through to the Heaven Star border realm? Host battle Chi cultivation level, 9th level of the Earth realm. The system only listed a box and didn't give any substantial information. Lin Shin looked at his battle Chi essence attribute and found that it had reached 360 million points. The elixir is indeed effective. Why didn't I break through to the Heaven Star border realm? Is it because of the mental cultivation technique? Lin Shin looked at his 9-colored battle soul again. The color was several times darker than before, but the 9 halos did not move at all. Whatever, at least my battle strength has increased. Based on my battle chi cultivation alone, I can easily match a Heaven Gang Realm cultivator without the help of charging runes and special energy bloodline. Lin Shin didn't think too much about it. He put away all his thoughts. At the very least, becoming stronger was the most practical thing. Brat, the implications of this mental cultivation method of yours are too great. After entering the academy, it's best if you don't fight too much and grow as fast as possible. Otherwise, it'll be easy for others to target you. At this moment, Elder Yuan transmitted his voice to Lin Shun through telepathy. Only then did Lin Shun react. Looking at the eyes of the surrounding people, he immediately understood the gist of the matter. He cupped his fists towards Elder Yuan. Boom! At this moment, a gust of wind blew, and for the first time, the group who had been flying at high speed felt the flow of air outside. Here we are, little guys. Welcome to the Heavenly Song General Courtyard. After the intense white light passed through, everyone squinted their eyes slightly. When they opened their eyes, what greeted them was a brand new world. The sky was blue and clear for thousands of miles. Celestial birds flew past, and majestic mountains stood tall like celestial mountains, exuding an ancient and unchanging desolate aura. It was like the most primitive world of wastelands. However, in the high altitude of this world of wastelands, there were many sky islands connected by iron chains as thick as dragons suspended in the sky. It was like a fairyland. On the islands, there were palaces and pavilions. The scenery was blurred and magnificent. From the inside to the outside, there was an aura of transcendence. In the sky, there were also Heaven Gang realm cultivators who were flying in the air. Their auras were extraordinary, and their flying speed was extremely fast, as if they were mortals from heaven. As Elder Yuan led the group to fly, all the freshmen saw that each sky island presented a different scene. Some were fighting arenas with a lot of space for fighting. Some were cities full of students who set up stalls to do business. Some of the islands were medicinal pill collections, and they were filled with all sorts of treasures, including tens of thousands of heavenly treasures. Some were engraved with stone tablets, and many people sat cross-legged in front of the tablets. The tablets were engraved with cultivation techniques from ancient times, but until now, there were very few people who could comprehend the profundities within. Some were all over the place, and occasionally released a shocking amount of energy. If a little bit of it leaked out, it would cause a huge energy tide. The new world presented by the vast number of sky islands was simply too wonderful. All the freshmen were stunned. Even Lin Chen couldn't help but exclaim in his heart. What he saw with his purple golden eyes was not as simple as what the others saw. Everyone thought that the branch colleges they came into contact with were already very majestic. Compared to the scene in front of them, the branches in the 24 regions were completely remote. Elder Yuan brought everyone to one of the sky islands, and it was located in a quiet pavilion. Then, Elder Yuan put everyone down and stood on the ground. The air was fresh and full of spiritual qi. There were many powerful cultivators, and the courtyard was beautiful. Everyone took a breath of the air, and the battle qi in their body flowed faster. Look, the soil used to cultivate plants is actually giving birth to so many mid-tier spirit stones. And this spirit tree, there are third-stage green spirit berries on it. Oh my God! Even the floor is made of bright spirit ore. So many precious treasures were placed here as the most basic and common things, and no one would take a second look at them. All the freshmen's brains went into a state of shutdown. Other than shock, there was still more shock. From now on, this will be your private dormitory. Each of you will have a pavilion and a square. Your information has been recorded here. Remember, don't fight in the safe area or your points will be deducted. Elder Yuan flicked his finger, and the badge on everyone's chest flashed and disappeared. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as Elder Yuan's voice fell, a series of air blasts exploded, and something even more unexpected happened. Among the 15 students of Class 66 of the Waste Realm, Shangwan Bahan, Bai Juanhao, and Qin Xiaofeng broke through their cultivation on the spot less than 10 breaths after arriving at Sky Island. Ha ha ha! In the past, there were also freshmen who had accumulated enough cultivation and only lacked an opportunity. After coming here, they were stimulated by the spiritual qi of heaven and earth here and successfully broke through the bottleneck of their cultivation. The examiners were not surprised and laughed. Everyone nodded in their hearts. No wonder those people from the General Academy always look down on others. In this environment, even they can grow wings. Yu Linlin exclaimed. The only one who remained calm was Lin Shun. His purple gold eyes had already seen this scene in advance. Suddenly, Lin Shun asked curiously, "That's not important. I just want to know one thing now." Everyone looked at him curiously. They didn't know what the strongest dark horse in history was interested in. Lin Feng said with a serious expression, "I'm the most handsome person in the General Academy." Then the question is, what's the name of the most beautiful female senior in the General Academy? Chapter 188. Lin Shun and the rest of Class 66 were walking on a bright and wide street of Sky Island in the Heavenly Song General Academy. I wonder what I can exchange for with 60,000 points. Big brother Lin Shun, you have 1,280,000 points. Have you thought about what you want to buy? It was a race against time, so everyone didn't choose to go into seclusion in their dorms. Instead, They went to the treasure pavilion in the Heavenly Song General Academy as soon as possible. That elder Yuan also told me that it's best to exchange for cultivation resources when we arrive at the Heavenly Song General Academy to improve our basic strength. Lin Chun smiled casually. As they chatted, they arrived at the only treasure pavilion on the island. Oh, Huang Sun, so you're a freshman? Yeah. Why is there a youth merit student here? I don't know him. Is he here to guide the newbies? The old man guarding the treasure pavilion narrowed his eyes. Seeing that there was a youth merit student, he squeezed out a smile on his face. What are you looking for? It's fine, elder. We'll just look around. Lin Chun raised his hand and took the list on the counter, as if he was familiar with it. TSK, so it's a senior leading the team. Fine, you could take your time to choose. The old man continued to lean on the chair with both hands. His eyes were slightly narrowed as he closed his eyes to rest. Lin Chun and the others looked through the treasure pavilion's various lists. With a little bit of battle aura, the names on the list quickly scrolled down. The list was roughly divided into spiritual treasures, pills, medicinal herbs, vicious beast materials, energy spirit stones, battle skills, rare ores, and battle weapons. Clicking on any one of the options, a dazzling array of precious treasures filled everyone's eyes. It was impossible to choose from them. Not only were there pills and weapons, but there were also some special energy bodies that were hidden in dangerous places of the world. It could be said that there was everything in this treasure pavilion. Don't waste your time looking at those high-grade treasures. Just choose something that suits you. Lin Chun reminded everyone. Everyone nodded their heads and began to seriously choose the cultivation resources they would need. Lin Chun, on the other hand, clicked on the special energy spirit stones option, and a dazzling array of elemental treasures appeared. Lin Chun glanced around and couldn't help but inwardly click his tongue. Some supreme energy bodies that even he had never heard of could be found everywhere here. Similar to the 8 Wasteland Body Forging Flame, 5 Lightning Heaven Heart Source, and Meteorite Heavenly Dipper Chi, they were all supreme treasures that could allow one to advance by leaps and bounds in the Heavenly Dipper realm. Of course, the price was also ridiculously high. There were hundreds of thousands, millions, or even millions. The current Lin Chun could not afford it at all. With a casual glance, Lin Chun immediately chose a special energy or energy spirit stone that was suitable for him. The Void Thunder Spring is born from the Heavenly Abyss Thunder Pool, and it contains the power of thousands of thunderbolts. Price, 100,000 points. The Earth Soul Pearl is an Earth-type spiritual object that originates from the depths of the Earth veins. One is as heavy as 10,000 tons, and the price is 2,000 points each. Dark Devil Origin is born in the darkest space between heaven and earth. It contains demonic energy. Those with low cultivation or mental strength should use it with caution. Price, 200,000 points. The Rippling Light branch originated from the Thousand Spirit Tree in ancient times. It absorbs thousands of years of light-type spiritual energy from heaven and earth. It contains pure light-type energy. Those with opposite attributes should use it with caution. Price, 180,000 points. Gung Metal Sword Chi. All things between heaven and earth, piercing the sky with a golden edge. It originated from ancient times and is suspected to have been left behind by a sword. It is sealed in the scroll. It can be used to attack enemies or cultivate. Those who cannot control it should use it with caution. Price, 150,000 points. The Azure Sea Dew is the Azure Sea Sacred Dew that has been accumulated in the deep sea for thousands of years. It contains pure water-type energy and has the miraculous effect of automatically healing injuries. The effect is gentle and there are no conditions to use it. Price, 220,000 points. The Nine Fiendish Gale is born in the eye of the extreme abyss. It has the power to tear apart mountains and rivers. Price, 150,000 points. Lin Chun bought all these special energy bodies and energy spirit stones in one go. Lin Chun did not feel the slightest heartache when he spent 24 million points in one go. There were still many people in Class 66 who had not chosen a suitable cultivation resource for themselves. Lin Shin simply paid the bill and returned to his residence to cultivate in seclusion. Lin Shin's personal dormitory in the secret cultivation room. Lin Shun sat cross-legged and opened up the system to display his attributes. Heavenly Tao Possession Pickup System Version 2.0 Host. Lin Shun Cultivation. 9th level of the Earth Realm Limit of Power. 5 Dragon Power Chi and Blood Energy. 542,150,000 points Battle Chi Essence. 39,811,000 points Mental Power. 860,000 points Cultivation Technique Soul Essence. 3,500,000 points Cultivation Technique. 9 Calamities of Creation. 20% Cultivation Technique. 8 Desolation Mystic Flames. Taisher Scripture. 25%. Divine Desolation 9 Arts. 80%. Special Treasure. True Flame Purple Phoenix Wings. 70%. Bloodline Energy. 13,500. Points of Azure Dragon Bloodline. 10,000 points of Purple Gold Pupils Bloodline. Attribute Rune. Grade 2 Slowing Rune. Grade 2 Corrosion Rune. Grade 2 Charging Rune Energy. 990,000 points Various Elemental Energy. Fire Attribute 7. 81 million points. Earth Attribute 4. 06 million points. Wood Attribute 4. 6 million points. Metal Attribute 5. 18 million points. Water Attribute 5. 51 million points. Thunder Attribute 2. 7 million points. Wind Attribute 2. 75 million points. Light Attribute 3. 79 million points. Dark Attribute 2. 31 million points. Let me first raise all my other attribute Battle Chi to 4 million points and above. Lin Shin opened up his spirit storage ring and released the Gung Metal Sword Chi Scroll, Great Void Thunder Spring, Dark Devil Dry Origin, Rippling Light Branch, Azure Jade Sea Dew, and other special energies that he bought earlier. Azure Dragon Possession. Lin Shin's body was covered in dragon scales. Relying on the tough defense of his flesh shell and the toughness of the ancient Azure Dragon's body, he grabbed onto the Gung Metal Sword Chi Scroll and tore it apart. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. 3 streaks of sword chi that sliced through the void suddenly appeared. Before they could even unleash their prowess, Lin Shin circulated the 9 calamities of creation. With a grab from his dragon claw, the 3 streaks of sword chi were absorbed into his body. Roar! Boundless dragon prowess reverberated within Lin Shin's body. He used the ancient Azure Dragon's dragon prowess to suppress and absorb all the metal attribute energy that was as deep as the Milky Way into his Dantian. Host has received 100,000 metal attribute energy points, 300,000 metal attribute energy points, 500,000 metal attribute energy points. Lin Shin's metal attribute energy surged all the way. With a curl of his left arm, it turned into the arm of the Azure Dragon. Lin Shin imitated the previous method and grabbed onto the Great Void Thunder Spring with his claw. He circulated the 9 calamities of creation lightning battle chi through his meridians. Chi-chi, ka-ka-ka. Thick lightning arcs that were as thick as dragons jumped on Lin Shin's Azure Dragon arm. Ordinary Heaven Star border stage 1 cultivators might not be able to withstand the tempering of this lightning. However, with Lin Shin's body refinement foundation and the ancient Azure Dragon's defense, this lightning energy was not enough to hurt him. Following closely behind the metal attribute was the lightning attribute, dark attribute, light attribute, and wind attribute. Lin Shin's various elemental attributes continued to rise. One day and one night later, 2 mysterious figures entered Lin Shin's dormitory area. His blood token immediately reacted and informed him that someone had entered his dormitory area. Lin Shin, scram out here and accept your death. A thunderous roar that could shatter mountains and rivers reverberated throughout the entire dormitory area like a dragon's roar. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.